You're doing your you are on a constrained time. I don't know if that's the right word, constrained. You are on a schedule. You are a man of schedule, family life.
I'm always on a bit of constrained times. These days, especially.
6:59 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am on the west coast of the North American continent, and you are also in that time zone in a sort of a more northern part of the coast of the North American continent, right?
Yeah. I'm actually I might even be more west than you.
Because it hooks over, it hooks over.
Yeah. And I'm on an island in the ocean. So, but yeah.
Pat, you have 2 kids now?
Yes, I do.
Tell me because this morning I was actually thinking, by the way, your son, what a great looking kid. I mean, both your kids are great looking kids, but what a strong looking baby. Holy cow. He already came out he looks amazing. Congrats.
Thanks. I mean, look, I feel like everyone you have, just as soon as they're healthy, you can kind of take a deep breath. That's all you need.
Did he come out all good? Did he come out all good? No, he came out breathing and all that shit?
Yeah, he came out early, so not crazy early, like 2.5 weeks or so, but it was a bit sketchy. My wife started bleeding quite a bit in the evening. It was Friday, and she had a bath and then kind of stood up and dumped a bunch of blood in the tub. So we went to the hospital quite urgently, but it's my wife delivers babies, so I think she had a better idea what was going on than me, and it was good. Everything was fine in the end. She had a placental abruption, but things were under control, and we're able to have a natural birth. And baby came out healthy, and he was good. I mean, our first baby was pretty big, and so this guy, by virtue of being a couple weeks early, was a little bit easier to push out. So it was a little bit smaller, but not small. Didn't need NICU or anything like that. So we were nice. We were home kind of the next day, basically. And my wife's starting to work again already. So she's pretty hardcore and awesome. So overall, things have been really good. He doesn't sleep as well as my firstborn did, but he's doing all right.
How much did he weigh?
When he was born, I think he was 7'1".
Oh, okay. So perfect size.
Yeah, he wasn't small, so he was fine. Started to put on some weight for about a couple weeks, but then now he's good.
I've never heard of that. A placenta abruption. What is that? The cord did the umbilical cord get torn off the placenta in there? Or I never heard of that. And blood is scary, right? I mean, not blood is scary, especially if you're at 15 weeks or at 9 weeks. That means probably you're losing maybe a lot of blood. Yeah.
So it's good that you don't know what it is, and it means that probably you had pretty uncomplicated pregnancies, and that's great. But a placental abruption it just means the placenta pulls away from the wall of the uterus. So it's like the placenta starts to detach.
And so basically the baby has to come out at that point, right? Because it's getting I guess it's getting everything from there, oxygen, food, everything.
Yeah. So pretty much once they start there's a bit of a depends how much comes off. I think past 30%, it's got to be a C-section pretty immediately. So we ran to the hospital, and we were thinking we might have to go in for an emergency section, but we didn't. The bleeding kind of slowed down, and we monitored everything really closely, but we managed to have natural birth afterwards. So it was good. I mean, it's scary times.
That's crazy.
In the beginning, but
that's crazy that you were able to have a natural birth. How does that happen? So you go in there and you see that had she had Braxton Hicks, or was she having contractions, or was the water broke? How does she have the baby?
She'd had some contractions before. I mean, they induced labor as well. The next morning, we were there through the first night, just making sure that the bleeding was slowing down. And then by the next morning, they started inducing labor, and then it took most of that day. We probably went in at 9 p.m. on the Friday, and then had to be at 9 p.m. on Saturday. So
that's remarkable.
Yeah,
it truly is remarkable.
A lot of times they go to C-section. Yeah, we were really happy because we were really hoping to do that, and she did not want to have a C-section. So it's a very interesting kind of situation being in the delivery room with her, because that's what she does for work. So it's kind of funny. I always joke, it's like your husband to work day, because these are all people she works with. You know, she knows all the nurses, she knows all the OBs, she knows all the staff. She also knows what's going on. Like, I just know like blood bad, you know, I don't know much about, you know, the ins and outs of delivery and what complications can happen. So she's very much taking the lead, and I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm going to try to help, push me out of the way if you need to. But even the next day when things had smoothed out and we were just kind of waiting, it's just funny because, you know, the nurses change shift and it's like high fives at the door, like, oh, Dr. Workenhill, what's up? We didn't know you were delivering your baby today. Great. So like everybody knows everybody, right? And it's a tight knit community. So it was very fun. In the end, it was really nice. So, and like I said, at the end of the day, like outcomes is what matters most. And mom and baby were both healthy and happy. So it was good. Really, actually ended up being a really nice delivery. So, and now he's
and the baby
weeks,
looks like you.
He's almost 7 weeks, I think now.
And the baby looks like you, so you're pretty sure it's yours. That's always good. There's always that moment when he first comes out. You're like, hold on a minute.
Nah, not in our house. I think we were actually funny. We were thinking they were gonna be. He had really, really like white blonde hair when he was born, and he started to get a little bit of red kind of creeping in now. But we kind of thought all the babies would have just red hair, like straight up, and so he's got a little bit more blonde in him. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, if it starts to change or not. But he's starting to come online. You know, he's looking at you more. He's looking around. He's paying more attention. He started to engage a little more, which is really fun. So.
How long ago was he born? How old is he?
So he was born on February 17th. So I think he's like 7 weeks now. Well, it's 7 weeks. No, today's Saturday. Yeah, I think 7 weeks today, or 6 weeks today.
You put together that CrossFit compilation recently, and I forgot how much you used to look like Ed Sheehan, the singer. It's crazy. You must have.
Oh,
you
before
got
the
that.
open.
Yeah. Did people say you look like that guy a lot back
I used
in
to
the
get
day?
that a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Maybe I've grown out of it, but
how long have you been doing CrossFit, Pat?
Since 2013, early 2013. So whatever that makes, that 11 years now.
And how old are you?
I'm 33. CrossFit says I'm 34.
So basically, since you've been 21 or 22.
Yeah, 22. I would have been turning 23 the year I started. I would have been 22 and a half.
What a cool body composition shift you had every single year. Like what an incredible it's nuts. It's just a slow, sustained, just every year you look more and more like the Hulk. And what's crazy is at 33 you look the best you ever have. I mean, you truly are starting to look like an action figure. You're starting to look like Tia Toomey. Yeah.
Oh man, life goals, eh?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, do you get excited about that outside of all the competition? You're like, you wake up in the morning, you walk by the mirror and you're like, fuck, there's my life's work.
It's pretty cool. I think it's cool to have a job that allows you to do that, because most people don't have that. I think it's something that a lot of people have to make time for. I mean, yourself included, right? It's another thing you have to add into your day, whereas for me, it's kind of a big part of my day. Those are the things that I have to punch in and do. And then I also get, all the secondary benefits of physical activity and being healthier and whatever. And I'm not going to lie, there's the way that we train, or at least I train, it's not the healthiest way to train. My body hurts, like my joints are hurting, and I'm gonna. There'll be a part of me that's very sad when I stop competing, but I think there will be another part of me that's very happy that I get to live with a little less of that daily beatdown. So I think it's very cool. Yeah, you're right. It's fun to think of it as your life work, right? And I mean, you get to be to try to maintain some of that for as long as I'm alive, right?
Yeah, you get to look at it. It's like sleeping underneath the Sistine Chapel. You know what I mean? It's like your greatest like your art, your daily work is there with you at all times, right? So wherever you go, there it is, right? You go to bed at night and you go to bed with your work. You wake up in the morning, you're with your work. You're working on improving your body or maintaining it or enhancing its capabilities. There it is. It's just like always there. You can't compartmentalize your life at all. Fair?
Oh boy, do I try though. I don't know.
Do you really try? Do you really try?
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
I like when things fit boxes, and I like being able to turn the page from one thing to another. So, that's partly why I have a home gym set up. I don't use it as much as a lot of people would, because I like to go to work, and then I like to come home, and I like to whatever. So, I don't know. I don't think I look at it as a constant reminder of my work or anything like that, but I think it's a nice, like I said, a nice secondary benefit. My wife always jokes that I should probably in the next couple of years do some sort of boudoir photo shoot, or just get some nice naked photos taken, because she's like your body's as good as it's ever gonna look. And
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have a snapshot in time of like, here you go. Like, and then when you're 60, you can look back at that and say like, hey, I did all that work and this is what it was. And
The thing is there are also so many pictures of you already, right? So much pictures and video and so many people basically recording your evolution anyway.
That's what I always say. There are enough photos of me it's on the internet in existence with my shirt off and on and all kinds of whatever. So I think it's probably okay, but it's a good thought.
Shannon Medeiros, Michelle's a rock star. Boys are adorable. Family is awesome. You're pretty cool too.
Oh, thanks, Shanna. Shanna's a great cheerleader.
I agree. Fergie Show, which CrossFit athlete does Pat Vellner wish would have broken his fall off the carton net? Oh, off the cargo net. Oh, if you could have fallen on someone, who would you like to have? It'd have been nice to land it on Matt. Who?
Lucas Hogberg.
Lucas Holberg.
He's big. It would have been a nice cushion. He was exceptionally good that year. And then if that had hurt him a little bit, he also tied Brent for third place that year and won the tiebreak. So I don't know if that hurts him a little bit and it takes him out, then I get Brent up on the podium with me. Lucas Hogberg. Easy answer.
I love it. Hey, tell Brent to check his DMs, please, if you talk to him.
Why? You reaching out to him?
Or send him my phone number. Yeah, I'm dying to have him on. Oh my goodness. God damn. How'd you find that, Souza, so fast?
Earlier today. What a moment.
Oh my goodness. Hey, what a beautiful scene there, right, too? That layout, that whole games, I mean, what a beautiful shot. Look at that.
That whole obstacle course was cool. Those years that we did the obstacle course in a row, that was 18 and 17. We did the small one, and it was fun. They're really cool to do, and the scale of them is really sweet. Those are the things that you like to go to the CrossFit Games for, right? Like stuff that you can't replicate. That's what makes it really fun. So I'm interested to see even this year with the move to Texas, what that's going to look like, right? It's new opportunities, something different. I'm like, Madison was fun, and we did some really cool stuff like that, but I always like something new. And so I'm just like excited to see what the next stage brings.
It's also cool.
I think I'll be.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll be one of only a few people, if I make it back, that's done California, Madison, and Texas.
Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. So normally I interrupt every other thing you say. Now it's like everything you say. I apologize. Okay. But yeah, I agree. It's gonna be like every time we switch locations, it almost feels like a new era. And it's like, yeah, you're there for the beginning of this new era. What are you eating?
Piece of banana bread. My wife went on a baking bender yesterday, so I'm taking advantage. We're trying to use up a bunch of stuff because we're moving again here soon, so trying to use up a bunch of things.
Are you going to get in trouble? Is this one of those things where she's asleep and she's going to wake up and you ate more than you're supposed to eat?
I don't think she's eaten any yet, and I've had like a third of it. So I had some last night. I figured I'll get up, I'll have a coffee and some banana bread and have this chat. So we'll see. I don't know. I just say you better hit the gas. Like if it's sitting there on the counter, like I'm gonna start having some pieces of it. So if you want some, you better get moving. I'm not gonna save it for a week. It's gonna get stale.
Why are you moving? What's the?
I know. We live in a nice place. We're moving back east to Quebec to be close to family, basically. That's what it comes down to. My wife's family is all there, and right now we have no family and we have 2 young kids, and it's tough. Work and we're busy and we travel lots, and it's hard. It's nice to have community and it's nice to have help. So I think for up to this point, we've generally been people who are very like more long-term thinkers, I think. And so we tend to like delay gratification and just deal with misery in the minute. And I think we're realizing that what that means is we're fine. Like we could continue to live here and raise the kids and be totally fine, except we would just see less and less of each other. And I think that sucks. The thought of that is painful. So we decided to move. We're building a house right now. It's kind of like actively being built right now in Quebec. And we're going to move there. We're going to move in June, early June, and the house is going to get finished in like the fall, winter. And then we'll have some family around, extra help with childcare, better access to daycares, stuff like that. So it's just going to help our lifestyle a little bit. It's going to help us bring our relationship back together a little bit, which is going to be nice. I think that's just like, we see a lot of value in that, having more time to spend with each other. And I think that's what the plan is going to be. It sucks. It's always bittersweet. Like it's going to feel bad to leave the mountains and the ocean and that kind of stuff. But we're moving to another beautiful place. So I think you just have to, like we were just saying about the games, you have to look at it as like another chapter, and it'll be fun. Like I think it's going to be really cool. So coming soon though, things are hectic because we're trying to pack up this house and sell it and do that before the end of May, and then move in June. And I also have to do semifinals at the end of May. And we've got a 6-week-old baby. And we got things going on. It's busy. It's busy time.
You're stressing me out. Who packs up your gym and shit? Who packs up your house? Do you guys do all that yourselves?
Yeah, we're doing most of it right now. We've had my parents were here for a bit when the baby was born, and same with Michelle's family. So they have been helping with some little things of just like getting the house prepared. We got some people coming to help get the lawn and everything looking nice for sale. And I got to take down the rig on the side of the house soon. It's on my to-do list.
Do you consider leaving it, Pat? Do you consider leaving that just to be like, fuck it, it's too much work, I'm just leaving it? Too much work to take it down, too much work to move it. I'll just dear Bill and Kate and try to get something new.
No, I'm not going to bring it. I'm just going to take it off the house because I don't think add value to the new people buying. I think it's actually probably something that they're just going to have to then take down. My expectation is if it was up when we show the house, one of the conditions of sale would be that we take it down before we leave.
Oh, okay.
And I know that the gym here that I train at has expressed interest in buying some of the pieces of the rig so they could add on to their rig. So I was just like, oh, sweet. Like I'll probably bring some of my stuff, and then I'm probably just going to sell some of my equipment and stuff here back to the gym, so that they have more things there. Because they've kind of had a nice renaissance lately. There's some new owners came in, and the gym's been lots of new members, nice makeover. So it's doing great. So I think that it would be nice to just give them some new stuff to use for that.
How do you build a house? You guys fly out there, you're like, here's some empty land a few miles from where the family lives, and then you just contract an architect and contractor and do it. It's just like that? You're like, hey, we need 3 bedrooms, we need a den. I mean, dude, we remodeled a house once, and the fucking number of questions and things you have to decide, that's stressful. I cannot believe how many things you have on your plate, dude.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wonder why I live this way, but I can't help it. It's just in my nature. But yes, your question to building a house, it's very much more involved than you would think, and you don't know where to start. I think the best way to think of it is you need to hire people who know more than you. So it's paralysis by analysis, right? Like when you're building, because we're building a custom home, if you try to start from scratch, I think you'll take forever. It's impossible to make a decision when the options are unlimited. So we just said like, hey, we hired a technologist to make an initial design, and we just gave them a list of things being like, hey, we like this. This is a type of, this number of bedrooms, this amount of whatever. And you gave like priority, and they come up with an initial design, and then you just hit fall back and forth a bunch and be like, no, this looks like whatever. We'd like to have more of this. Oh, we want this upstairs or downstairs, or we want the shape to look more like this. And then they just sort of are experienced at creating initial model. And then once you have something to work from, it's much easier. And you get a visual, and you're like, oh, okay, I like what you did here. Actually, this is really cool, but I'm thinking more of something like this. And they kick back a couple different renderings. And so that was super helpful. But it was kind of random. Like a couple of years ago, we were visiting Michelle's family, and we had mentioned kind of offhandedly that we'd probably look at moving in the next couple of years. Maybe once we have the second baby. And we're just like thinking long-term, like we always do, just kind of family planning and making a big plan. And Michelle's mom is super well connected in the area, and it's a pretty tight community out there. And she like by the next day got us like a list of little, like, oh, this so-and-so has this land up in this area that's just being developed, and they're looking to sell it. It's not on open market yet. Like we could probably get a private sale, whatever. So we just like, got lucky, got a couple options we could look into. And then we bought a piece of land a couple of years ago and then earmarked it for future development. And then we've been just kind of on the process of designing the house for the last couple of years. And now it's cool to see now, because they poured foundation, did a bunch of stuff recently. Like they're starting to do framing. And when it starts to happen, it happens fast. It feels like it's been this very, intangible academic exercise for 2 years, like these designs and things, but nothing really happening. And then it's like there's shells in the ground, and we set up like a live feed camera, like webcam, on one of the trees near the site, so we can like come online and look. It's what the progress is like, and it's time lapsing photos, so we can time lapse the build of the house, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that's super.
Yeah,
cool.
so we're kind of keeping tabs, and it's cool. It's very exciting. It's fun to see things start to move, and but it's now we got to pay builders, and we got to do things like that. So it's not all good. But,
and everything's like
very busy.
Everything's like a crazy decision, right? They're like, we can pour a slab, and it can be a 60-year slab, but for $10,000 more, we can put a few drops of this shit, and it'll be $80,000 slab, and it'll last 100 years. Do you want the wood that's pressed together, or do you want a single blah 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 lumber? Do you want? And you're just like, holy shit, am I gonna?
Oh yeah,
is this house gonna cost us twice as much as we thought? Is it way more expensive than you thought?
Sure. Yeah, and things are expensive for sure right now in general. It's more than I wish it was, but it's I think also like you gotta kind of like, we're planning to live there for at least the next 20 years. When
how many years?
Kids go to school and whatever. I'd say at least next 20.
Like,
I would say we're planning to live there kind of forever. We're building it as if it's our forever house. I think we're not building it with like weird bells and whistles that are going to make it hard to sell if you ever did want to sell, because it's so specific to you. But I think it's you don't want to cheap out on certain things, especially that are structural. Like we're trying to make decisions now that are reasonable for building really nice bones. And then if there's some like nice finishes that are a bit flashy or more expensive or whatever, I don't need to do that right now. Like we can save some money on like custom build cabinetry or things like that, because you could always remodel some of that stuff in 2 or 3 years. Be totally fine. So, we're not like fully trying to break the bank on everything, because it is expensive and things add up really fast. But every decision does feel like a big decision. And they're not. Like we had to spend a week debating siding color, exterior siding color, and getting so granular on this, like whatever shade of kind of green we were going to use for this exterior siding. And like, they were so similar. Like, oh, we're stuck between these three colors, but they're the fucking same. And like, depending on, you know, but like, depending on which the light shining or if there's shadows on it or not, they could look similar at certain times of day. And the reality is, any one of those options you'd probably be totally happy with and forget about it immediately once you move on from it. But when you're making the decision, it feels like, oh, this is going to be the color forever. Like, this is such a big decision. So you kind of stress yourself out over it. But I think it's like important for us to remember, like, you're going to be happy with this stuff. Like, if you've narrowed it down from everything to these three are all really good choices. So just like any one of them you'd be very happy with, and you trick yourself into thinking that one of them is going to like bring you absolute and enduring happiness till the end of days. Like, that's just not how things work. So, you know, oh, like, you want your front door to look like? It's like, we narrow it to a couple things, and then you're really freaking out about this, and they're saying, dude, you gotta pick one because we gotta order the doors by Friday. And you're like, oh no, I got to make this decision. And it's such a big decision, but it's not really, right? Like, I think you can make anything into a big deal. So we're trying to not lose perspective of that it's like, they're all going to be good decisions. And, you know, and nothing is really final either. So, but it's a big job. And I think my wife's on mat leave right now, which is amazing. And so she's been managing a lot of that stuff, and just communicating with builders and things and making small decisions when she has to. So it's sort of taken it out of my hair for most of the days, and we'll just talk about big stuff.
Yeah, I love, my wife does all the adult stuff, and I loved it so much when the builder would just tell us stuff. Like, hey, you should do this. Just like, I don't, just like, fuck. It's like jumping over a hurdle and clearing it. And you're right, you have to just let it go. You cannot look backwards. You'll hate yourself.
Yeah. And I think we also are not naive to think that we know best about a lot of things, right? Like, I think asking us for our opinion or decision on some things is almost laughable. In some cases, we're like, well, I don't know, like, what decision makes sense? And you got to be paying attention, because we don't want to get fleeced by builders or people that are just like upselling you on every little thing. So, man, I got to tell you, Michelle's really good at that. Like, she's keeping receipts. And
do you like your builder? That's huge too.
Sure.
People don't realize that too. Your builder, you end up having a pretty intimate relationship with your builder. It's pretty. I mean, a lot of people in big buildings, big houses, they'll separate from their builder mid-project. Like, it's not uncommon, like, for there to be.
Yeah.
You guys like?
Yeah, and I think actually because we had a couple of years, we were talking with them before we started, and honestly, I think most of the like pre-construction phase of like planning and this and that, lots of calls talking to them about various things, design. He was involved in the design process. And I think that stuff kind of strained our relationship a little bit, because we were feeling like, oh, you know, like, before you're signing the contract and everything's like, we're doing a fixed rate contract build. And it just like, I think we were, I don't want to say we were high maintenance clients, but I think we're not people that are just going to be like, yes to all, sign the paper or whatever. And I think he was getting a little annoyed with some of the questions we were asking, or like, we're very persistent in the things that we want. And so now that it's building, I think that we were a bit annoyed at him with how responsive he was over certain things while we were trying to ask questions.
Yep.
But now that we're building, like, he's been terrific. And so it's been really good. He's a good resource. He's like experienced. And I think when you don't know what to do in certain situations, he's happy to give you like tidbits of his experience and whatever. So it's been good. I would say it's been overall positive experience. It's just funny. It takes so long to plan, and, you know, 2 years of planning. And then like, by the time we started, it feels like you're already behind. But it's been very cool. So we're excited. It's going to be really fun. We should be moved in by Christmas is the plan, but we'll see.
But you moved there in June. Yeah.
So my wife's parents live quite close to where our build site is, but like they live close by a trail. So we live in like adjacent neighborhoods that are kind of in the hillside. And the road access kind of goes down to the road like this, and road access is really far away, but the tops of the neighborhoods are kind of close, and like a 10-minute trail walk that connects the top of the trails or the top of the neighborhoods. So they live quite close, and we're going to stay with them for, basically 5 to 6 months.
You'll be staying with your in-laws while you're training for peak performance for the CrossFit Games.
Yep.
God, you're wild, dude. That's not how you're supposed to do it. This will be fun.
I don't know. How are you supposed to do it?
I don't know, but not that way. I don't know. I'm no professional coach. My L1 is expired. Right. Says
I don't know. I feel like a lot of these young kids are still living with their parents.
What about moving to Vermont for a couple months? Oh, you have the two babies.
I'll probably go down. I'll probably go down once or twice.
Yeah, go down. What? Oh, to Vermont.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's only about a 3-hour drive-ish from where we're going to be, I think.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, so I was actually kind of joking.
Maybe 3 to 4 from where we are.
So you can go visit Matt.
I've talked to Matt a bunch, and we might go down and do that. Like, I'm going to be back. We have it's the summer. We have a couple weddings and things like that. So I'm going to be back home visiting my family for 2 weeks in July, right before the games, I think.
God, your life is so planned. You already know what you're doing in July. I guess you have to. You're on a schedule.
Buddy, I know what I'm doing in December. Damn. I know what I'm doing every month. Like, there's not a lot of. It's hard to plan last minute thing in my life. We have a lot of moving pieces, and by virtue of that, like I don't have a free weekend until January 2025. But it's good. The grass doesn't grow under our feet. We keep it moving. But yeah, so I'm going to be back in Alberta for 2 weeks right before the games. So I got Jason McDonald, who's on I think he's still on seminar staff. He does the head judging at the games. His gym's out there. And so whenever I'm home visiting them, I train at his gym, which is great. I have a great relationship with him. And then, in Ottawa area, which is like Quebec, Gatineau, Ottawa area is kind of where we're going to be living. Like Ottawa's only a 20-minute drive from where we're building our place. And so usually when I'm out there training, I have been there a lot of times before major competitions, and I'll go train at Paul Tremblay's gym a lot of the time. He's right there and has a great facility. There's another gym that's like 4 minutes from where we're going to be living. That's brand new and pretty nice. And I know the owner's there. He's a guy that competed on team for a couple years at the games, Thomas Markhauser. So there's just there's stuff around. I think I'm not going to be like laying around at my in-laws' house on the ground. I'm not working out in their garage. I'm going to go find places to go get it done. Right. But
here's the thing that people don't realize. It's and I don't mean this in a negative way at all. It's just the facts. It's 5 to 10 new people to interact with, that the relationship will be not superficial. Obviously they're in-laws, but it's like you can just literally walk into your house now and not feed anything any energy except what needs to get energy, right? So now you live and you can conserve your energy, and you can be just completely you and relax. You're moving to you're going to train for the games in an environment where you have to say hi to people. You might have to do dinners that you don't want to do. You're not going to be sleeping in your bed. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. I mean, it's a tremendous, I mean, how nice is it when you get to go home and shut your door and turn your phone off? You're like, ah. And so I have two kids under 3. Okay. So let's go to that too. Last night at 8 p.m., what were you doing at 8 p.m.?
At what time?
8 p.m.
I was probably doing the dishes, and I was probably reading books to Owen at that point.
Jesus, you are living a good life. You were reading a book?
I was reading books to Owen. I was reading. We do 3 books before bed.
I thought you meant like free reading. Okay, so you read a book to Owen at 8, and then tell me what you're doing at 9. Are you sleeping? You fall asleep in his bed?
No, we keep it pretty tight at bedtime. I think at 9 we were probably just kind of finishing up the kitchen tidy, getting another snack, and then we watched a movie last night actually.
And what movie did you watch?
A movie called Naiad.
And then
who swam from Cuba to Florida.
Oh wow! Trying to get away or to set some record?
No, just like a record, a marathon swimming thing.
And then
pretty crazy story.
Is it fiction or I mean, is it like
No, true
a
story.
remake of something? Was it a
Just
documentary or?
it's like a remake of the story. So it's
Okay.
not the actual. It's not a documentary. It's not the actual people, but quite a remarkable story.
So then 11 p.m. you retire to bed.
Yeah, I was probably we were probably in getting to bed at 11. The movie ended at about 11, so we were brushing teeth. You want me to walk you through my evening?
Well, I know that. Yeah, I want to hear because you don't even seem exactly like yourself anymore. You seem like maybe you did a little fentanyl before this interview. Not that you're bad, you're great, but I can just tell Pat's worked a little bit. Okay, so then it's 11 o'clock, and Owen's in his room. And what's the new baby's name?
Ethan.
Ethan. And where is Ethan at this time?
He
Is he
sleeps in the
latched onto a
bassinet
boob
next
or
to
something?
our bed. Yeah, he kind of
Ah,
was. He slept
yeah.
for most of the last part of the movie, and then he's been pretty cozy in the evenings. He doesn't sleep much in the day, but night he's been getting better. So we try to like change him and feed him a little bit to make sure he will at least give us like a 3 hour window at night. So yeah, he was latched up. We probably like I fell asleep at like just before midnight.
And then what happens between midnight and 7 a.m. in this podcast? How many times do you get up, or do you get woken up?
I probably woke up a couple of times only. Michelle's been mostly managing him at night, and he's sleeping. He's probably getting up at least twice in the night, and then wakes up one last time, kind of probably around when I got up this morning, like in the like 6:30 window. And then she'll usually bring him into bed then and just kind of lay with him in the morning till she gets up. And then usually in the mornings I'll get up and I do everything with Owen. I get him ready for daycare. I do all that stuff, and she just sleeps the extra kind of 3 hours in the morning.
And it's Saturday, so you don't have to do that today. Take Owen to daycare.
Yeah, so normally he'd be up by now. In fact, he might creep out of his room here soon, but he hopefully not. We have a system, and hopefully he follows the rules. Yeah, so
Have you
usually
had
I'll do
any
that, and
nights?
I'll do daycare drop off and stuff.
Are you in that mode where you have nights where like you're in the living room holding the baby from like 3 to 5 a.m. or 1 to 3 a.m. so that your wife can sleep? Or like,
We've only had a couple of nights that he was really bad. Honestly, no. Michelle's been she's a rock star with the nighttime stuff. And she's been doing pretty much all of it. Like I'll change a diaper the odd time in the evening if she's really tired. I've stood up to kind of rock him for a couple of times, but she's been good. And he's been decent. Like he seems to go back down well. He's a little sick right now. Like he has a bit of a stuffy nose. So I feel like that's the most annoying thing at night is that he sounds like he's, suffocating because he's trying to breathe through his nose, and he's like it's like laying next to someone who's snoring super loud. So
or one of those
he's been
shitty
doing a bit
dogs,
of
like a
that.
pug, like you got a pug at home.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Like he's just struggling, and you feel bad, and you want to do something so you get the snot sucker out or something like that. But he's been doing pretty good. No, I mean, my like days are busy, right? Like, I think that the reality of the two young kids thing is when we go to live with the in-laws for a little while, like I think they're actually keen and going to be quite helpful for some of those things that yeah, maybe I'm not around with all of my stuff and things like that. It's going to be a bit of living out of a suitcase for kind of 5 months, but we're going to have extra help for the kids, which is huge. Like extra help for the childcare situation is massive. And I think also most of that time is busy. Like I think probably 50% of the time that we're there, I'm going to be away. Like we're going to go there in June, and then we have a couple weddings, and then it's the game, and then it's we're going to go to another event up in Quebec, and then it's Wadapalooza, SoCal, and then there's something I think I'm going to go do in Europe, and then there's Rogue in Scotland, and then there's and then it's December, and then we're moving into the new house. Like I've got probably 4 or 5 trips that are going to be a week plus in that span of June to December, 5 or 6. So it's just going to be a busy time. And I think it's going to be super helpful to have extra hands with the kids. So that I think, maybe there's a little bit of plus and minus going on with that situation, but I think overwhelmingly it's going to be helpful. Because I think, right now it's not like I get to come home and shut the door and relax like that. My days don't look like that.
Right.
Wake up, I run around in the kitchen in the morning, I feed myself, I get the kid ready, I get I get him to daycare. I go straight from there to the gym. I'm at the gym till the afternoon. I come home, I walk the dog. I go pick the kid up from daycare, and then I have him until about 6. Then I make dinner. Then I put him to bed. And then at about 8:30, I've got 2 hours to do something for me. And so I might stretch a little bit or watch some TV or relax and hence say hi to my wife for the day.
Or do dishes.
Yeah, say hi to Michelle because I haven't seen her all day. And then hold the newborn a little bit. And then it's bedtime, and then you do it again the next day. So, taking away some of that shuffle is going to be helpful.
When you think of Rogue and you think of like winning $50,000 or $100,000 there, do you think about that now that you're building this house and you're like, okay, awesome, that's 6 months of payments for the house. That's rad. That gives me some runway. Like, do you ever think about the prize money more now than ever before?
I don't think I ever think about it before. I think it's you don't count your chickens before they hatch, right? I think even all of that stuff, people have bonuses and contracts for performance and those things. And I've always tried to, like, even in that negotiation side, I've tried to stay away from those because I would rather have like 50 cents on the dollar in salary than more money in bonuses, because that can wreck people. If you start to get stressed over performance before it happens, or even it's day 3 of a competition and like, oh man, I'm shaping up for a nice bonus here. Like that can mess you up mentally and just sort of make you, it makes you stiff. It makes you tight. Like you can't really compete free. So I'm always like, it's something that
you're talking about like if a shoe sponsor says, hey, if you win this event, we'll give you extend your contract a year. We'll give you an extra $100,000.
Yeah, or like let's say they go. Yeah, like there's a lot that do that, or be like, hey, every major event you go to, if you take first, you get this extra bonus. Second is this much. Third is this much. Whatever. But I just I think that most of the time, it's if you just also I would say most competitors, you're in the moment, are absolutely not thinking about that. Like you're just like focused on beating the guy next to you, finishing the thing. Like you're focused on the next rep. Like it's hard to extend yourself out farther than that. So usually once it's 3, 2, 1, go, you forget about all that stuff anyway. Maybe in between the whistles, you're like, hey, I'm sitting all right. But I mean, even looking for this next year, like last year, I had a great year, financially, I guess. Like I did very well at most competitions I went to, which is awesome. Last year was probably like the best year I could ever ask for.
Congrats, by the way. That's awesome. Makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, thanks. And then next year, you're like, okay, I'm looking into the next year, and you're like, geez, hopefully I can replicate some of that success. And, you try to do the same things you've always done, and that's the best you can do. But I don't think you think too much about it. I obviously now building the house, I hope it'd be nice if I could win a couple more events and take a little bit of pressure off. And like after Rogue last year, like right after we won, I think that's like the first thing my wife said to me was like, man, you buy a lot of nice bathtubs with that prize money. And you're like, yeah, I can see exactly where that stuff's going right away, which is nice. But it just, it takes a little bit of stress off for sure. And I mean, it's not like we're not in financial hardship in any way, but it's always nice, right? Like anything like that, it's all gravy. So it's nice when things go well. But no, I don't think I really like looking forward to the games. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna go there, take another podium, and then I can do this, and then whatever. You can't project out that far. It's just like it doesn't make sense.
But it was nice going to Aruba after collecting a fat paycheck from Wadapalooza, right? Like one of the years I remember went to Aruba. Did you upgrade your room after that? Were you like, okay, we'll take the.
Well, we were already in a pretty nice room.
You were okay.
The hotel hooked us up pretty good, so I think I will say, Sev, that nothing feels quite as nice as going on a nice holiday after a win. It's just like, it just nothing like it. You just feel like it. You deserve it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Shut off and completely relax. And we don't get a lot of opportunities to do that. That was a great one. We had Owen there when he was young, and we just got to kind of kick it for, although what happened on that trip, we got COVID right before we came home.
Oh, that's
like, I don't know if we got it while we were in Miami. This was after Wadapalooza. I don't know if we got it in Miami. Seems more likely to get it in Aruba, just with all the people that were at Wadapalooza. And then we tested to fly to Aruba and tested negative. And then when we tested to leave, we tested positive. So we couldn't leave. So we ended up like stuck having to quarantine in Aruba for an extra 10 days, I think.
Was that fun?
They had really good.
Could you
I mean, it was
could
like
you surrender to that?
fun.
Were you like, yeah?
I think for me, it didn't matter as much.
Yeah.
It didn't matter as much for me as for Michelle.
Dad, I'm up. Hey, Pat.
Yes.
Bring him on the show. Pat, I have some really good news for you.
Let's hear it. You can't find it?
Good morning, Owen.
Do you want to say hi?
Dang, you're a big boy. Look at you. Hey, Pat.
Hey.
Pat. My guest yesterday said that COVID's not even real. So if that makes you feel any better, I just wanted you to know that. If that makes you like, you know what I mean? You can be like,
well, I mean, I got a free extra 10 days of holiday out of it. So, you know,
and that's awesome. Hey, but you had to pay for the hotel there.
So for initially they gave us like 4 days because the policies were different, right? Like this is the classic conundrum for most of that era is that depending on where you were, different policies applied, right? So Aruba's rules said that we couldn't leave for 4 days after a positive test for like whatever your viral load to go down. So your insurance, like your automatic travels insurance you got like with your visa or something like that would set you up for like those 4 days. So the hotel we were at just kept us there for 4 days for free. And after that, Canada wouldn't let us back in for like 7 days post positive test. So we had to get an extra like, you know, few days of Airbnb somewhere else. So we had to pay for those ones, but it was like basically okay. So it was funny. It was like a bit of a juggling.
Those bananas were green. I was eyeing those. I don't know if those are edible. I was eyeing those.
No, they're
good. Oh, wow.
They're good enough. Do you want me to open it all the way?
Nope.
Okay.
Hey, when you do you ever feel sorry for yourself? You're like, just like, fuck, man. Like I have to do this, I have to do that. Feel sorry might be a little strong, but just like this is just too much. Do you ever get overwhelmed? Like this is like it's just too many plates I'm spinning.
All the time. These days, almost every day. I think you know, we do a lot. We make ourselves very busy, like in our house. Like I think we aren't good at sitting still and just kind of enjoying things and making things easy for ourselves. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good quality that we have. And I think, you know, we were talking about, what were we talking about? We were talking about a holiday that we had in 2018-19, where we like went to Mexico City. And then we did a really quick like deconstruction of those 3 months adjacent to that trip. And it was like, oh, you know, what's that? Keeps we was like, oh, I was in London, then I came home and we went on this trip through the mountains, and then we went to Mexico City, and then I went to Wadapalooza, and then it was like in the span of like 2 months, we had so much that went on, and we're like, how do we do that? And I was at school at the time, and Michelle was at school. Michelle was in the middle of her med school interviews and doing all this. We're just like, what are we doing? Like, how do we survive periods like that? And it's not periods like that. Like it's all the time. Like you said, like, oh, you know, you're planned out till December. It's like, yeah, everything is full all the way through. So sometimes it's easy when you have a hard day and you're just like, man, I want to just lay down. I want to sit down and just like regroup, hide under a blanket. And then you look at your schedule for the next week and you're like, it's full. When can I have my next day off? It's full. It's full. It's full. As far as you can see, and you're like, oh my God. But then when you look back at all the stuff later, and we look back at that 2018, 2019, we're like, man, that was pretty cool. We've done a lot of really cool stuff. And I think at the end of the life, it's like, those are the things. Like you look at the body of work and you look at the experiences you've been able to accumulate, and that's really cool. So I think I'm like, you know, I'm proud of us and I'm happy for what we do. And I think that we live a very fulfilled life. And that's sometimes the cost of it. It's like things aren't easy. It's not supposed to be, right? Like it's not supposed to be super easy. So I think it's super worth it. And yeah, of course, like there's days where you're just like, you're tired and you don't want to. And I think nothing will remind you as quick as like a 3-year-old that it doesn't really matter what you want sometimes.
Right.
So it's just like the way you got to do it. So you put your hands up and work. So it's but it's fun. Like I think I love our life. We're very fortunate, and we try to take advantage of every opportunity that we have because you never know how long they're going to last. But yeah, man, it's a ride. It's a bumpy one too sometimes.
Hey, what about Pat? You can't walk by a window and see a sewing machine and be like, "Oh, I want to learn how to sew," or "Oh, hey, I've always wanted to play the clarinet," or you don't. Do you have any you don't have a chance to like add new things to your life right now, right? Like you couldn't be like, "Hey, I want to learn one new card trick every single day."
Not much. I try to read, but I think I'm looking forward to a time in my life when I'll have more time for that.
Yeah.
I think that's the reality of, this stage of my life is, I'm on borrowed time. I'm trying to get as much out of it as I can. And, in the next stage, I will look back on this and be like, man, what a crazy time. What fun we had, and then I'll have all the time in the world, I think there's no period when I'm 50 where I can pick up more hobbies and I'll have lots of time to do all kinds of stuff. And right now unfortunately, I think a lot of.
Can I play with that thing on the bag of my desk?
Sure. A lot of our time right now is a lot about me, which is selfish and crappy.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's a lot. It doesn't sound like it's a lot about you.
It's a mixture of about me competing and then about family building, right? Like we're in a stage of life we're trying to balance a lot of things. It's also like early career building years for Michelle and for myself. So it's like things are busy, but I selfishly in a lot of periods, I have to try to prioritize how I'm going to perform and how I'm going to get all my training done. And I try to fit all those things in between everything else. So, like my average day, I try to smash out 2 sessions while Owen's at daycare so that it doesn't interrupt our time together or things like that. But it's a busy time. And I think it's meant to be, right? This is like when you had young kids, how did you feel?
I'm in it. It's crazy. What I'm sensing for you is you're like basically super duper thankful and it's hard work, but you're so happy that you're doing it. And that's exactly where I'm at. It's like shitload of hard work, but like I wouldn't have it any other way. Hey, Pat, I know you got to go. Let me ask you a quick question here. And I'd like to have you back on for like a few minutes next week to ask you if your answer changes. The quarterfinals are coming up, and we're doing a quarterfinals competition between Colton Mertens, Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper, and Taylor Self. And I know the workouts haven't been announced, but can you give me a 1, 2, 3, 4, how you think they're going to place in the quarterfinals? I know we don't know anything, but and then I'll ask you again in like a week once we know the workouts. Dallin, Colton, Jason, and Taylor.
I think Jason's last. I think.
Oh, how about there?
It's only 4 workouts, isn't it?
Yeah, although JR was telling me that JR's telling me there's no way. He thinks that one of the workouts is going to have 2 parts. There'll be 5 scores.
Could be. I mean, I would go probably Dallin, Colton, Taylor, Jason.
Dallin, Colton, Taylor, Jason.
I think Dallin's just too good right now. I think quarterfinals, especially with no rope climbs or things like it's looking like there might not be, is good for Colton. He's just good for online style of competition. Really hard to beat at that stuff. I think Taylor's pretty fit, but he's got some big holes. Oof, I don't know. Maybe Taylor will be last. I think Jason's better in live competition with higher athleticism and heavier weight, which I don't know if we're going to get at quarterfinals. So I think his biggest strengths are going to be lowest priority in quarterfinals. And I think Taylor's just got a good engine and that kind of stuff. So
once you and Brent and Ricky get out of Dallin's way, are we looking at a future CrossFit Games champion? Down, Pepe?
I mean, Dallin's got pedigree, man. He's won the games as a teenager with it, which I'm the first to tell you means nothing. But I think he's I think the maturity that Dallin has shown compared to past teenage champions in his development as an open individual is extremely impressive. He took his knocks in those first few years. He grew from it, got back to the game as an individual, has been on a great rise. I think he's got every skill and asset he needs. He just needs to run better.
And that's it.
And then he's going to be very dangerous.
Sorry, final question. Sorry. Sevi, let Pat Vellner know he doesn't need to book any accommodations for Rogue. Jan and I have him covered. We've got a hold of a 3-man tent and found some space in a field nearby. We'll take care of him. Oh. All right.
Yeah, what about my family?
Details, schmetails, Pat. You're so detailed.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you, Zilla.
Go ahead.
So,
yes.
In our new house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have that apple. Sure. Do you want me to cut it for you? Nope, no bad spots on that one.
Should we call Nana and Papa?
We'll call Nana and Papa after this, okay?
Why?
FaceTime.
Conversation.
FaceTime.
Do you want to say hi?
Pat, give him a cigarette or something, for fuck's sake.
This guy's name is Sevon. Do you want to say hi, Sevon?
Hi. He can't hear me, right?
No, I got the headphones in.
Yeah, it's good he can't
change it, but
no, don't do that.
We're building a playroom downstairs in our new house. We're gonna have kind of like an open area basement, and we're gonna create in one big section like a large play area, and try to build some play structures. Get some like handlebars off the roof, wall rungs, like lots of fun stuff. We want to try to get some like very fun stuff. So I know you and your kids have like a pretty fun acrobatic sort of setup. Yeah, any recommendations on things that are like
that? You're gonna be. If you want to make a Pat Vellner, you need that is. I got that for the kids when they were 3, and I have 2 4-inch mats, like really soft mats underneath it, that sit in between it. And I'm telling you, now they're 7 and 10, and we use that thing every day, whether it's pull-ups, walking on the bars, jumping over them, pullovers, dude. This thing is the gift. This thing's the gift that keeps giving. This thing is insane. That's my number one recommendation. And a company, I think it might be a Canadian company that even makes it, Tumble Track, or maybe they're not Canadian, but Tumble Track with a K. Man, dude, these things are. My kids use that every day, and I go out there every day with them and watch them do stuff on it. It's made them so strong. Yeah, it's awesome, and that probably speaks to your heart a little bit too, right? Doesn't that look like something that like belongs in the Vellner house?
Yeah, I mean, right. It looks pretty sweet, pretty versatile.
Yeah, you can totally adjust it. I mean, it's
I got a lot of baggage from bars like that.
Oh, what is that? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Just say that from years of gymnastics.
Oh, yes. Well,
humbling myself, hit my legs on them.
There's some epic crashes.
Some old wounds. Oh yeah, there's some epic good crashes on parallel bars before. But yeah, that's sweet. I figured you'd be a good ass.
And they're infinitely mobile. You know what I mean? Like you can adjust the width, the height. You can take one of those off and just make it a single bar. It's awesome. It is. Yeah, it's awesome. And my kids walk on them too for balance. They do everything on them. They walk from bar to bar, back and forth. I mean, you can just do endless stuff. And then another thing is, I play a lot of catch with my boys to make them ambidextrous. A ton with tennis balls. I just keep like 100 tennis balls always on hand, always throwing, catching, making them walk backwards, throwing right and left-handed with the balls. And that's the reason why that stuff's so great is because you can get them to do that and they don't even know they're working out. And then 10 minutes after that, you can kind of escalate it.
You just surprise them sometimes?
Oh, every day. Every day I surprise them.
As they come into a room, you just whip one at their head and see if they catch it?
Yeah. It's all 3 boys. You can get away with murder. Hey, are you going to have more?
I don't know. I think right now the answer is no, but we'll see. It's easy when it's 6 weeks in. Maybe reinvestigate the topic at about a year, but I think we're happy with 2. I think you would like a girl, but I don't know if it's worth the risk, you know?
Yeah. All right, dude. Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you, Owen.
Say bye, Owen.
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for doing this, dude. Crazy schedule. Thank you.
No worries. I'll see you later.
Most likable man in CrossFit.
His schedule is freaking me out. Booked all the way through December. Holy crap.
I was trying to think if my schedule is that busy and I'm just in denial.
It is. Maybe not that far out, but for sure the next like 3-4 months.
For 1,300, yeah, the tumble track stuff's not inexpensive.
Yeah, but I mean 1,300. You bought it when they're 3. You bought it when Avi was 3.
Yeah,
He's 9 now. 6 years divided by 6, and then you're gonna have it at least until they outgrow it when they're teenagers. So
and 3 boys.
yeah,
And dude, my kids are absolute beasts.
that's true.
Yeah, absolute. Just they're so fucking strong. You know what's crazy? So I've been wanting my kids to get into swimming, and they don't really swim. You know, I mean, they swim. Like you could throw them in a pool, but they'll rush to the edge, right? Or they just all that stuff. So yesterday they joined they're gonna start doing 3 days a week swimming.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, and one of my 7-year-olds cried the first day.
Perfect.
And I walked over to him to be like, "Hey, it's cool, Joseph." He's in the water and he's crying and he's like, "I'm scared." And one of the parents is like, "Hey, dude." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Sit down."
Don't touch your kid.
He's like, "The teacher knows that this teacher's taught fucking 5,000 kids.
Right.
Like, yours isn't the first kid." Yeah.
Doesn't need you hovering over there. Reminds me of that infant swim school stuff. Did you ever do that with him?
I did do a little bit the infant swimming resource where they drown proof your kids. Avi did that. Yeah, Avi did that.
That's crazy. You had to sit there and watch your kid kind of drowned essentially and figure their way out of it, right?
I was at Greg's house in Hawaii, and the infant swimming instructor lady came for the second day of classes, and he ran out the front door, and he ran a mile down the street, and he was 3 years old, crying the whole way.
I don't blame him. That shit was traumatizing from those videos I saw.
A mile, dude. I have the video. I should dig it up somewhere. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He just saw her and ran out the front gate. Greg was in this community that his was the only house in the community. They were still building homes there, and he just ran, and he ran on the yellow line, and I just rode a bike next to him. And then when he was finally exhausted, I grabbed him and rode him back.
Was that the same people that was featured in the CrossFit Journal?
Yeah, it was the main lady who invented the program, Joanne something. She had come to Hawaii to drown proof Greg's kids.
Wow. Was that Greg's kids in the video, or were those just other random kids that were joining?
Some of the kids in the early video who were being thrown in the pool with their clothes on, those were Greg's kids.
Wow.
Yeah, Greg and Lauren's kids, yeah.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, it's so stressful. That program is so stressful. I will tell you this though, I'm not basically I'm gonna do this class. It's a half an hour, 3 days a week. It's going to normally they do normally at that time slot they have 2 hours of fighting, of basically MMA. And so I'm going to cut that down to 1 hour, and I'm going to do a half hour swimming 3 days a week right in that little slot and just take them to jiu-jitsu late.
Mm-hmm.
But my goal is just to do that for 6 months or a year so that they can start getting out in the ocean and start surfing every day. It's not to make, I just want to drown. I just want them to be super confident in the water, right? Learn all the strokes, not be afraid. I'm not interested in them being,
swimming
not
for athletics.
Swim team. No.
Yeah.
It's simply for cardio, another element of training. It's
Water
not
competency.
Just water competency and then metabolic conditioning for the other tennis and jiu-jitsu. Zach, Sevi can get my Combat Controller UFC fight friend to come on the pod if interested. Good dude. Yes, please. Yes, and yes. Someone sent me a picture yesterday of their tooth powder completely spilled all over their bathroom floor.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They took our tagline too literally.
What was it? What is it?
buy it, dump it out, and buy another one.
Oh, is that one of our? Is that's one of our? God, our marketing team is awesome. It's the best marketing team in the biz,
It does really leave your teeth feeling clean at the end, like when you lick
dude.
them with your tongue and stuff.
Oh
Like
my
it's nice
God,
and smooth.
Matoothian.
I've been Matoothian. Get
Oh,
Matoothian.
you got yours.
Yeah,
Oh, congrats! That's awesome. Okay,
yeah.
good.
I was gonna do the first one live and realized I left it at the gym when I got up in the morning.
And you just did it anyway. I know. Well, the first time my kid used it, he absolutely loved it,
Mhm.
Joseph, and I was like so bummed I didn't film it. I was like, fuck, I probably could have sold an extra like 500 jars if I would have got that on film. Pat's connection was killing me.
Yeah, that was rough. That like slight delay is even if it goes like choppy, but his audio is okay. It's like we could always deal with that, right? But like the delay is what kills it. And that one wasn't terrible. You've worked with a lot worse delays than that, but the delay is hard to get over.
Yeah, the timing, right? The back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. Because if you're trying to like interject and he's like 3 words behind, so then he keeps going, but then he stops, but then you stopped, and then it's like once that beat gets off, it's hard to bring it back in. But you did. I felt like it was fine.
Janelle Winston, swimming lessons are the best. Get kids in the water early and often. Not being afraid of water is such a boon. Yeah, you know what's interesting? For some reason, I've heard about swimming too, of all of the movements that you really can't teach adults how to swim. I don't know if that's true, but I've just heard a lot of people say like, "Hey, that's a skill that if you get young, um, you'll be leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else." It's not something like you can pick. I mean, you hear about guys picking up jujitsu at 20 who have no athleticism, and by the time they're 35, you know what I mean? They're black belts and they're winning competitions. For some reason, swimming's not like that. I don't think. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I don't know why.
I mean, in my I
And
don't
maybe
have
it's
much.
not true, but
I don't have much experience with swimming, but I know teaching gymnastics and Olympic weightlifting for as long as I have, like it's a lot harder for adults that have had zero experience in that. But I'll find this, some random guy or chick that comes into the gym and they're like, when I was 10, I did gymnastics for 3 years. And I'm like, okay. And then 6 months into CrossFit, something clicks and they could move their bodies in a way that you're like, was exponential in terms of how they came into the gym. So it's buried deep in there. And the ones that don't have it, definitely takes them a lot longer to obtain. And then still with like Olympic weightlifting for a lot of adults that have never been exposed to it or just weren't exposed to gymnastics, it always looks off. You're like, like it's there, but it don't look that great.
the same. Same, different, different.
Mhm.
Just for shits and gigs, I mix my Matoothian with a smidge of toothpaste. Wait,
Not approved.
mad scientist. Sarah Cox, my girl started at 6 months. Yeah, great. All my friends who have pools, their kids are crazy swimmers. Their kids were swimming before they talked.
Mm-hmm.
Back in my real pool boy lifeguard days, I literally would have to save adults in 4 feet of water. Wow.
Just yell, stand up.
Rubio Graciano or Graciano Rubio, depending on how you know him. I started weightlifting at 24. Wow. Imagine how strong you could have been. I'm not teaching Jeff Birchfield, teach them how to breathe when they swim. It's the biggest thing. I'm not teaching them shit. I already literally I walked over there. I can't even believe I did it too, to be honest. I know better. One of my kids was crying and I walked over there. And the coach was obviously he was so good. He's a great surfer, great swim coach, renowned in the area. Was a world-class water polo player as a kid. And I walked over there and started talking to my kid. I'm like, "Oh, it's okay." And then one of the other parents is like, "Uh-uh." I'm like, "All right."
Get that helicopter dad out of here.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
His kid was killing me. Like, why agree to come on the pod when you don't have anyone to watch the kid? Oh no, that's he warned me. He warned me. I got to cut Pat a lot of slack for that. He basically said it was short notice. We scheduled them really short notice. You got to cut Pat a ton of slack for that. We scheduled him crazy short notice, and he said, "Hey, I can just get a few minutes in the morning," and we kept him a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's a superstar too. He did seem a little more fatigued than normal. I will say that.
Yeah, well, listen to his schedule. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot. That's a lot to do. Day in and day out. Newborn, building a house, training full time. Has a young 3-year-old there. That's tough.
My wife and I don't remember what year it was in CrossFit, but it's 2011. In 2011, my wife and I bought a house, and we lived 2 blocks away from it in an apartment we rented. And we didn't move into that house until 2014. We lived 2 blocks away, maybe 4, I don't know, close. Like, you could
Mhm.
run there in a minute. We didn't move into the house till 3 years later because we were so fucking busy, and it was when she
Wow.
got pregnant with the kid. Is that nuts or what?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it just sat there with nobody in
Just
it for
Yep,
3
just
years?
sat there for 3 years, no one in it.
Well,
So, like, I get it. I was working 365 days a year. I was never home.
yeah.
I was just and we were just so busy with CrossFit. I mean, it was think about it, between 2008 and 2014, it was fucking chaos at CrossFit, and then I had the kid, and I just took the kid everywhere with me. Like,
Mhm.
literally every CrossFit trip I went to, I just brought the wife and the kid. That's how we ended up living with Greg for 3 years. I basically Yeah, that's another I basically lived with Greg, but I had an apartment and a house, but I was always in San Diego at his house. I had a bedroom there. Me and my
How
wife
often
lived
were
there.
you traveling in those days?
One time I looked on a calendar, and it was like a 2-year period where, I hadn't been in any one location for more than 5 days.
God,
So not even
that
traveling away
sounds
from
tough.
home. Yeah.
Right, right, you're
But
just not you're
when you don't have kids, that's nothing. You're
yeah,
living the dream, right?
and you were doing what you love and, with cool people and all of
That's when
that.
you get on the plane and the first thing you do is set up your computer and edit. And
Right,
you edit
yeah.
all, you know what I mean? Like, you've been in Africa for 3 days, and you just edit for the whole fucking 17 hours home.
Wow,
Yeah, now I don't live my life like that.
that's rough.
Yeah, Pat's in that phase.
Yeah.
Pat's totally in that phase. I think Dallin's gonna win the game someday. I'm sticking by that.
You wanna throw a year out there?
Let me look at
27? Something like
let me
that?
let me look at the, CrossFit Games, leaderboard. Let me just look at last year's, uh oh, shit.
Last year's standings just
I
to
don't I don't even know how to fucking use this
throw
website.
nonsensical data at your decision.
CrossFit 2022 CrossFit. How the fuck do you get to the leaderboard? How to compete, learn more. Uh, Competitions? No.
Leaderboard?
I don't even know how to get to the leaderboard from their site.
Hey, you want me to do
It
it?
just says learn more, how to compete. Okay, I'll click learn more. Register. Leaderboard. Here we go. CrossFit's never had a good website. Not when I worked there. Not when It's never been intuitive. CrossFit Games.
Yeah, CrossFit.com used to be the best. You just open the page, there's your workout, there's your latest publishings to the journal, and you're good to go.
Okay.
Courses along the right-hand side.
So
Oh, fifth.
yeah, soon.
Okay.
Like in the next and then Ricky's not on this list too, but I have to suspect. How old's Pat? Pat's 33.
33.
How old's
What's he?
Adler?
30,
29. Yeah.
29. Fuck, I thought he was older. Damn, I'm just old.
Um, I'm going to say it's soon. It's like really, really soon. Justin
Justin's
Medeiros,
only 24. What year was this
24.
leaderboard?
This is last year's.
But is that updating their current age, or is that just about how old they were last year?
I'm not sure, but
Oh, okay.
but either way, it's probably how old they were then. But either way, these people are going away.
Yeah, 28. Wow, Roman 32 for Brent. I keep forgetting Justin Medeiros is as young as he is.
What's crazy too, though, is 32 is still young. It's just not young for our sport. But just think of
No, for sure.
how old are you?
36.
Yellow hosty.
But I mean, Medeiros is only 24, 25. I
When
keep
when
thinking he
when
was older.
Dallin Pepper wins the games, Luka Jukic will be probably like top 20 guy. How old's Colton? Oh shit,
Colton's
Colton's
only
young too.
25. Fuck.
Doesn't he seem so mature?
Yeah. I thought all those guys were like in their later 20s.
Spencer's 27.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. Will Moore.
Yeah.
Will.
Okay. So, God, maybe, God, dude. Hey, dude, it could be this year.
You think? I don't think it'll be this year.
Dude, he's so
I don't think
good.
it'll be this year. I think it. I think he'll be. I think he'll believe it this year. Maybe he'll get into that, break into that top 5 like again consistently, maybe
Yeah,
even closer, and then I think he might believe it. Like, okay, next year I'm going to be champion.
it's coming.
I feel
It's
like so much of that is going to be like, and you hear a lot of the athletes talk about it, but such a mental edge is really what it comes down to, right? Like
He
anybody given
seems
in
like
this
he's in
top
a good
10.
headspace. He seems like he's in a good headspace.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But like, not only do you have to be in a good headspace, but you have to have that confidence of like that swagger of like, I'm here to win, you know? And so often, even in the interviews and shit, "No, I'm just here to gain experience or to have a good time or just enjoy my time here and stuff." And so at some point, for a few of those athletes, that switch will flip and he'll be like, I'm here to win.
Mm.
And so I think like once they show that they could do it by hovering around that top 5 for a couple of years and then make that switch mentally, then I think you have somebody who has a real shot at winning it.
T-Bird, I don't think the sport's been around enough to say how old is too old. He,
It
I,
definitely
I,
has.
I hear you, but I disagree just because I think sport has been around long enough and we're seeing the wear and tear on the guys. I think a big sign that Dave knows what's up is when they started masters at 35.
Mm, yeah, because
Like
that's
this,
young, but in the sport, that's old.
yeah, that's old. It's just the body's recovery. Just because others stop when they did doesn't mean it has to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, but I wonder how old you are, T-Bird. But the recovery, the amount of training you can do as you get older diminishes, and so the skills you can work on diminishes, and then the recovery just catches you. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just whether it's recovery from a 10-minute recovery to the next workout or a 5 hour, but your just window for recovery just it diminishes so quickly.
I would also argue that at that age time too, there's like this economic factor to it, right? Like once you get to your kind of later 20s, like if you're not winning the prize money that Pat is and you don't have the sponsorships there, like at some point you're gonna be like, hey, I probably need a fucking job. Like
I wonder
I
about
should
that, how
probably figure
stressful
out
that
what.
is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're like you could play, you could play that game in your mid 20s to like your later 20s, but let's say you're like 28, 29 and you're still trying to do like your CrossFit thing and maybe you have a handful of sponsors that amount to like, 20, 30K a year and maybe you're coaching a couple classes that double that. Then it's like at some point you got to make the decision, hey, can I do this for the rest of my life or am I going to have to switch here to something that's going to make more sense to me? For me, like whether that's owning a gym or just
God,
moving
that
on
sounds
altogether.
stressful. God, that sounds
You
stressful.
have to make the decision
A
though, right?
failed elite athlete.
Well, I don't even know if it's failed. Just like there's so little money in the sport and so few people get to
Failed.
obtain that top.
Failed. Failed. I know the tip of the spear is so tiny, right?
It's so
Someone
small,
someone
man.
could be so close and just not. Not if you use California hormones. It's so funny you say that because when Hiller was on testosterone, the main reason why he said then he got off for 3 months, and he said I don't remember what, but he said his energy diminished tremendously, and his ability to work on videos just diminished tremendously, and the little bit that I dabbled with the CJC 1295, uh, I didn't realize what an enormous difference it makes,
Hmm.
like, enormous.
Energy
Uh,
level, you're saying?
yeah, I just was, I have these there's times in the day now where I haven't been doing it, and there's times in the day where I just get tired that I was reflecting, I was like, "Oh, I didn't get tired like this
Hmm.
in this part of the day." Like, I just cruised through, cruised through, cruised through. For a second, I was like, "Oh, shit, I'm getting older, and these days are getting longer." But then I was like, "Oh, no, it's the fact that I was fucking around with the CJC 1295, and then I got off." And, sometimes you have to lose something, Sousa, to appreciate it when you had it. Yeah.
Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah. Also, 35 years old, has 10 beats less maximum heart rate compared to his 25-year-old self. That 10 beats is huge. It's basically a PED. Oh,
You
I
want to
mean,
hear something funny about
you mean
that?
like a stronger and slower heart? He's saying that helps
Well,
you. Go
I
ahead.
think he's using the equation of like whatever it is, 220 minus your age, and then
Oh.
that's your maximum heart rate.
Oh, right.
So I wish I would have saved the article. Maybe it is on like a different hard drive, but I actually wrote an article about how that came to be. Like who decided that, right? How'd they come up with that equation? Who came up with that equation? And there was a physio guy, the Samuel Fox, that wrote a lot of the textbooks that were used in schools and universities and stuff. And he was on the flight with a doctor, and they were trying to figure out how they could just find a baseline of maximum heart rate, so then they could watch it fall when they stress test to look at different heart conditions or AFib or things like that, right? And so they just came up with that metric simply to give themselves some sort of parameter, right? To start some sort of model, if you want to use like Jay Cooey stuff from the other show, to like start looking at that so they could start to compare. And then it's funny because Samuel Fox was in there and he has this quote that said, yeah, then Polar Electric took it, turned it out how to productize it and commercialize it. And the US took it from Polar Electric and then brought it to the States and turned it into a product. And then they said something like, leave it to Americans to take something that has nothing to do with what they're utilizing, commercialize it, productize it, and sell it, and it becomes the new norm. So if you ever look into the history of where that actually came from, you could read it. And it's a conversation that was documented with the two of those guys on an airplane. Pretty funny.
Not to add value to what you're saying, but not to take away from it, especially is one thing that people confuse though is like, even if what you have is wrong, let's say you have a ruler and someone tells you it's 12 inches long. I'll use a real world example. I was running on a track thinking I was running 400 meters and I was running 333 meters. And I did that for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And, but all my times may have been wrong, but relatively and in context, it was consistent.
Right.
And that's why relativity and context is so fucking important, because even if all of your fucking data is not and so many people get stuck up on that. Like that's the thing, like, hey, he said he was in a Ferrari but he was really a Lamborghini. Hey, it doesn't matter. The point of the story, the spirit of the story is that it was a fast red car that gets pulled over by cops. And so yeah, it's interesting, but as long as they stick with one, I mean, even if though they made it up, my point being is even though they made up that max heart rate, as long as you're consistent with it, you can still get good inference from it, or you could still get good value from it, depending on what you're trying to get from it.
Sure. I just meant the fact of that, like, because you got older,
right?
Heart, like that doesn't apply. You could still use that model to tell you some cool stuff, or to like train off of it, or to utilize it to your advantage, but it's not like a fact that just happens with age.
That 220, your age formula is bogus.
Yeah, clock knows. Because then half the people will like do a CrossFit workout, right? Like maybe they come from an endurance background where they're really using a lot of zone 2. They're really using a lot of heart rate to tell them how to train. And then they step foot in a CrossFit gym. They ditch their heart rate monitor maybe for a couple of workouts. And they say, I'm curious. I'm going to throw this back on. And they do Fran and their heart rate is fucking, 180 through the roof. And in their mind, that doesn't map out because, wait, I never went this hard. And according to this equation, I shouldn't have been able to do this because of my age. And it's like, well, that's why you got to take it with a grain of salt.
What the fuck is Jake saying? Is he on meth today? So we don't have to squat to death? Tell that to Hiller Sevi. You showed capacity. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't even know how that's relative to what we're saying.
And no, it doesn't weaken to your age, Romeo. That's what I'm saying. You're just using an equation that it actually doesn't. It's not going to weaken according to your age. That's what I'm telling you. Don't take the model from the academics and apply it to your real world. Like my heart's getting weaker because I'm getting older.
Squat to depth, exercise hard. Don't pop your heart.
Motion is lotion.
No, it's at 3:30. Oh god.
Oh, he missed it. He missed the point. I love how stressed you get when. And half the time, especially because it's Jake Chapman, I feel like he might just be doing that to mess with you too.
When I was a little kid, I hated being misunderstood. God, I fucking hated being misunderstood.
See, look at him. Look at him. He is trolling. I freaking knew it. I freaking knew it. Some of them, they have us pegged. They'll say things that no, we'll just take a tangent.
Don't forget your peptides. Don't forget. I haven't been to the website in a while. I want to see if there's anything new there. Damn. Oh, they do have new stuff there. Like you can get a vitamin B12 peptide. What
Just inject B12 into you? That's like, and what does that do?
Revitalize and energize your life. I would have thought it just helped you take a shit. Energy amplification, mood enhancement, cognitive function, quality assurance. Our injectable vitamin B12. B12 is produced under stringent quality controls.
Little B12 to start the day.
Experimenting with your own body. All right. I think that's it. That was fun.
Yep.
Oh, look at Pat already apologized for the toddler. No apology needed, dude.
Yeah.
No apology needed. Last minute podcast. You the man.
So are you still thinking about having the guest host for tomorrow? That we were talking about earlier?
Oh yeah. I got them. I got her. I can't believe I'm leaving the show to a woman.
You're gonna be too nervous to like listen to it.
Oh my god.
I feel like you would like check.
The podcast is no place for a woman. This is a man's domain. What? Say it again. I'm so excited for. Hey, dude. I watched their first podcast and I turned it off because I was I was like, what a fucking train wreck. And then I was on their podcast, but I knew she was doing them regularly because I would see them pop up. And then I was on her podcast and I was like, holy fuck, this bitch got her shit together.
Yeah, it looked like she did John Young recently. That one looks like it's doing well. Like relevant to the size audience that they have right now.
Yeah.
So that's good. Good for them. It looks like they got Pedro coming on too.
I talked to her on the phone. I go, what are you gonna do when me and her were talking? Like, oh, they have Pedro coming on tomorrow with them?
No. They have Pedro scheduled in the future on their show. Sorry.
So I was talking to her on the phone. This is like 6 months ago or something. And she goes, I can't remember how it came up exactly, but she was like, hey, someone implied this. She said it way more mellow than this. She goes, but this is the gist of it. She goes, hey, someone implied that you're friends with me just because I'm black and because I'm a lesbian. Oh, well, that's not the only reason, but that I like that. I like black girls and I like lesbians. Like, well, like, what do you mean? What is that supposed to be like? Well, they were suggesting you're just using me. So I called her the other day. I said, hey, now, can I really use you? She goes, what? I go, Sunday, I'm fucking busy. Could you do my podcast for me?
Was she stoked? Or what? Or was she kind of nervous about it?
I couldn't. I mean, she was crazy gracious. She goes, okay, let me check tomorrow. I have tomorrow's really busy. Let me see if I can rework my schedule. And I said, hey, I'll offer it to you again. Don't stress yourself out. And she goes, no, it's fine. And then so the next day she called me and she said, yeah, it's cool. I'll totally do it. I'm pumped. She sounded pumped. Yeah, she just sounded pumped.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And I did we hook her up with everything she needs as far as access wise and everything, or is
she? I think so. Yeah, she's got I'll double check with her today. She said, hey, do I need to schedule the show? I said, no, Susan's already got it scheduled, and I gave her admin rights. If you go to StreamYard,
okay, she got set up. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. But I didn't ask her because she's a woman or because she's black or because she's lesbian. I asked her because, I mean, she's not even really black. She looks Irish. She looks like, I mean, she's whiter than Shelby Neal. But I mean, but she is black. She just didn't. She didn't get black skin. I don't even know what black means anymore. She didn't got black skin,
Interesting.
but she plays basketball.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
But not all. Not all black people play basketball.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Not all.
But so. And her girlfriend's not fat, but a lot of black guys like fat white girls.
It tends to happen. Yep. You see him sometimes inside fast food joints.
But anyway, she's gonna be great. I was on her show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. She's smart as shit. She's got a lot of good ideas. Her co-host Colleen is great. She has a kid. I know. You know what's interesting about Garrett? If you guys didn't know this, she has a 5-year-old son. I'll let her talk about it. But I think you guys will be stoked on her. She's fun. She'll go anywhere in her head. She not scared. She ain't got no bitch in her. So
What are they gonna do? Are they just gonna do?
I told her do whatever you want. I said you can go to the brand. You can open the phone lines. I'm assuming she'll just do whatever she does on her podcast, but just do it on this podcast.
Yeah, that's cool.
And someone's gonna ask her like, "Are you a boy or a girl?" Like someone in the comments. She goes, "Oh yeah, yeah." She's like, "Don't worry, I get that every day."
She's like, in real life, it's easier to handle on the internet. No problem.
But I am very, very fond of her.
That's cool.
As I like to say, I would take her as a neighbor. Like if she lived next door, I'd be pretty stoked.
Should definitely be interesting.
I want to have you know how like shows would have like I want to have like a regular, like someone who fills in for our show when I'm gone.
Is this tryouts right now?
Kind of.
Hiller and Alexis
Yeah,
do it
yeah.
last,
Hiller last
Sunday.
Sunday I went to a tennis tournament and Hiller did it. And Hiller's not really the guy though, like for it, right? I mean, he's got his own shit going on. That was just him fucking doing charity work for me.
Yeah.
But I want to find someone who's like that the audience is like, oh, that's the fill-in. You know what I mean? Like I think like Johnny Carson had a fill-in, like Joan Rivers would do a show or some shit, right? Or Arsenio or whoever the late night people were. I just remember when I used to watch late night television, they'd have sit-ins for him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if like Arsenio was on a Coke binge, they'd bring someone in for like a week.
It's also interesting. You pulled people that have their own shows. Is that part of the plan too? To like
no,
find
well,
stuff, or would you pull like a random that doesn't even really do stuff that often?
I mean, if I wanted to set them up for failure, you need your own.
It's hard. You got to get into a rhythm. I mean, I think I'm 8 weeks into mine now, and still feel like there's so many different things I could do to improve. First 30 seconds of the show is crucial.
Can we call in and discuss vaccines and how 90% of what yesterday's guest said was incorrect? Sure. Yeah, call. Let me hear. Oh, shit. My phone just updated its software. My phone. If the phone works, yeah, call. Yeah, I love a little vaccine talk. I love the drugs, just drugs in general. I like injectables.
You know who might be fun, but I don't think that they would do it, and it might be tough without a guest.
Who?
Would be somebody like Josh Bridges or something.
Oh, you mean to host a completely unreliable?
I know.
Daniel Brandon would be great. Josh Bridges would be great. A completely
think they could do it
unreliable.
though, just on themselves? Like I don't think
Josh could for sure,
and just be by himself on here and just riff with the audience and find topics to discuss or whatever.
Josh is a great storyteller. Here, there's two kinds of, the athletes who like get on their Instagram. They're like, "Hi, the messages are coming so fast. Hi, oh hi, Kathy. Oh my God, so good to see you. I loved seeing you at Row. My favorite hair color is chartreuse, but they didn't have it at CV. Hi, Mom. Hey." Like, I don't want that. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I don't want that for my show.
It sounds like an Instagram live video. Yeah,
I kind of don't want anyone doing like. There's got to be some ratio of comments to just having your own shit to say.
Yeah, it's hard. because sometimes you'll address comments and then, like, at least I will, and then sometimes I won't if I try to tell this whole subject or a story that I want to get out, because if I stopped halfway through and started addressing comments, all of a sudden it's like 10 minutes later and I'm like, fuck, I don't remember what I was talking about.
Yeah,
Gotta get
there's
back on track.
there's definitely a place to. Oh, I vote David Weed. There's definitely a place to address comments for sure.
Yeah.
Daniel Brandon would not be great. I love her, but I can just see it now. So, you guys, what do you want to talk about? Oh my God, so deep.
Oh no.
It's so deep. Oh my God, I'm panicking. You can't even tell. It's so deep. You can see how deep it is. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
All right. Are you calling in or what?
Oh,
how dare you talk shit about Jay Cooey? Come on, Daniel, call in, buddy. Call in.
Oh, that was for Daniel.
Daniel Garrity.
Garrity, Mr.
Yeah.
Garrity, please call in and discuss why our guest was so wrong yesterday.
Oh my God, is that your alarm clock? Wouldn't that be amazing?
So deep. It's so deep. Oh my God, I'm panicking.
That would change your day if you woke up to that every morning. I want $1 every time that clip is played. This just got weird. Your fucking buddy offered to sleep in a tent with fucking Pat Vellner in Scotland. A 3-man tent, and there's 4 of you. Fucking tell me it got weird. You tried butt fucking one of my guests.
Oh my gosh.
You tried to make one of my guests airtight. I know what you want to do with Pat in the tent. It's a great term, right? Airtight.
Oh, Angelo Gitico as a guest host.
Oh,
Oh.
not bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Jeffrey Birchfield, sure, Savon, I would love to come on. Oh, I didn't think you got my text message requesting you come on. Well, that's great. We'll get you scheduled. I call in for Sousa's show, more of a safe space. I'm headed to CrossFit now. God damn it. All right. Have a good workout, buddy. Let me find one thing fun to play. Let me find one thing.
Damn, I'm so sore. I did 135-pound overhead squats yesterday.
Wow.
The first time since my shoulder had that weird incident. I actually just started going RX, like overhead again with the weights and some more gymnastics in the past like 7 weeks I hadn't. And I'm telling you, I'm so freaking sore now. Holy shit.
Hey, that's funny you say that. I was thinking about making a video of me just doing 10 overhead squats just with the bar.
That's good. A good video.
It was such a weird thought. But anyway. Okay. Yeah, 135. How'd it feel? How many did you do in a row?
There was 20 in the workout I did, and my sets were 13 and then 7.
Wow, dude.
But the workout was 14-minute AMRAP, 50 wall balls, 40 toes to bar, 30 box jumps on a 30-inch box, then 20 of the overhead squats at 135.
I might do that. I might spread that out over the week.
It's a good call.
Cut that in the fifths.
Yeah.
Cut that in the fifths. Patrick Clark, by the way, we scheduled a Fraser show against you, Susan. I didn't know what days and time you went on. Brother, seriously. I very, very kind and sweet of you. So many people are going live now that I think that the courtesy is not relevant. But thank you. I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah.
But thank you. That's very good. And congratulations on the interview. Good interview.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, but not necessary.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
And in Democratic, and by the way, this is in Democrat Joe Biden's America, illegals are now taking over homeowners' property. Squatters turn into tenants after 30 days. After that time frame, homeowners we will be arrested if they turn off electricity, water, or attempt to evict the people who have stolen your house. I know this sounds like it's not true, but dude, absolutely insane what's happening. Here we go.
Oh, I will be arrested instantly.
They turned off the hot water
and then reported that they had no hot water. It's a $250 fine per day, up to $15,000, punishable by 5 years in jail.
So here you are. You have to pay the upkeep of the house.
Right. I pay the
And you're not getting any rent?
I'm not getting any rent, and I'm paying the gas and electric every month.
4 stories repeated over and over and over again by irate and often unwitting property owners. Lorry lines marking their faces who came to City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino's office desperately seeking help. Hong Chen has spent thousands trying unsuccessfully to get the squatters out of this home in Mazpath. John Sokran using his pension money for expenses on this College Point home he hoped to provide retirement income. And Susan Mascara, who has used up her savings paying for 7 years of upkeep on this Bayside home she inherited from her mother.
I'm in debt. My credit cards are pretty much maxed out.
Why can't you just change the locks?
Oh, I will be arrested instantly.
They turned off the hot water and then reported that they had no hot water. It's a $250 fine per day, up to $15,000, punishable by 5 years in jail.
So here you are. You have
They turned off the water, the people who stole her house, and then reported her.
Oh,
to
so
pay
she
the
didn't
upkeep
turn
of the
it off
house.
No. They turned it off and then reported her.
just to fuck with her more.
Just to fuck with her, yeah. To build a case against her.
It's the death of
Right.
the American
I pay the
dream.
And you're not getting any rent?
I'm not getting any rent, and I'm paying the gas and electric every month.
4 stories repeated over and over and over again by irate and often unwitting property owners. Lorry lines marking their faces who came to City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino's office desperately seeking help. Hong Chen has spent thousands trying unsuccessfully.
Hey, this does not happen in Republican-run towns. Just so you know, people aren't allowed to steal your house in Florida.
To get the squatters out of this home in Mazpath. John Sokran using his pension money for expenses on this College Point home he hoped to provide retirement income. And Susan Mascara,
It's fucking insane, dude. How does anyone fucking vote libtard?
Dude, it's an erosion of liberty. How are you going to
Yeah,
have
yeah, well
a
said.
property and that you're utilizing as a source of income in a business, and then the state works against you? Like, the only thing I could think of is that they don't want people to own property and they don't want small business.
I mean, that's what it looks like. What's crazy is that this is a CBS story.
Yeah, it's nuts. Have you heard the other scams that they'll be doing is like squatters will come in and they'll squat for a certain period of time, and then the homeowner will want them out, and they'll say, okay, if you give me 3 months rent paid, I'll get out. And then they're giving them, $10,000, $12,000 to vacate the property, right? Even though they haven't paid rent in months or anything. Then they leave, and 9 times out of 10, or who are we kidding? 10 times out of 10, the place is just trashed. Because the type of individual that would do that is just a piece of shit.
they're
trash
they're
individual.
always trash. Yeah.
So
they
then you
fuck
end
your
up
shit up.
paying thousands of dollars to get your house reset back up just to potentially go through that again. And what they're doing is they're making it in terms of an investment vehicle, like a house or a portfolio of houses that you would get to rent out for income. They're basically saying like, yep, you can't do that anymore because we'll fuck you.
The new Florida law closes many of the loopholes that squatters have historically exploited to remain illegally in possession of a property by giving landlords the ability to have squatters quickly removed.
That's how it should
It also
be.
establishes criminal penalties. Hey, dude, if you fucking break into someone's house, you should be just fucking destroyed, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You should not. There should be no tolerance for fucking burglary. Even if you don't take, you should not be allowed to go into someone's house. My mom had a rental property that she went by one time, and there were squatters in there, and that scared the shit out of me. I don't want my mom going somewhere with some Imagine what kind of fucking situation is someone in where they're squatting. Listen, the thing about drug addicts too is their occupation is to steal your shit. Like, a drug addict's not holding down a job.
No, but they need money every
But they
day.
need money. They're all of those people. The default is thief. You have to know that. You have to remember they're not homeless. They're drug addicts and they're crooks. That's like Savon, you can't say that about all of them. But I'm just telling you,
But you can.
That's they're over the 90%. It's like 90%. It's like, yeah, sure. There's probably a few rattlesnakes out there that were born without fangs and venom. Sure. But in general, if it's got the fucking rattle on it,
Mm-hmm.
it's
The fact that there isn't parameters put around the time that somebody could be in your home that you've rented them without kicking them out is just insane. Like I can understand it's like the first 30 days they can't pay. You can't just come in there and rip them out of the house, right? But within a certain amount of time, let's say
yes,
if
you
it,
can.
if it
Why not?
pushes
Why can't
past
you?
60, because usually there's some sort of laws protecting
No,
around
but I'm saying
housing.
I'm okay with ripping them. If I go buy, if I have a house that's on the market, let's say to rent, and I go by there and there's someone in it, I should be able to call the police, and those people should be arrested and fucking do a year in jail for breaking into my house.
Well, it should just be around the terms of if they're not paying and you've
I've never even seen them
cited it.
before. I've never even seen them before. They're just in my house. The front door.
Okay.
You know what
So
I mean?
let me put
Yeah.
more to that. So yes, I
Okay.
agree, because at that point they're just breaking in your house. What I'm talking about is a renter that you've had in there for a period of time that fell on hardship that can no longer
Oh.
pay for 1
Oh.
month. Okay, so
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
clarify that.
Yeah.
So yes, if you just show up and your house is empty and there's somebody that's just living in there, yes, you should be able to rip them out of your house.
That's what these
immediately.
people are talking about, by the way. These people aren't talking about renters who've defaulted on their payment.
Yeah, that's insane. That you could just
Yeah.
come in, that
Yeah.
you could just walk inside somebody's
Yeah.
house. The fact that the state even entertains that means that you don't own that property. You don't own that property.
I have three rental properties, and all three of them during COVID, we fucking waived all sorts of shit. All sorts of shit. Rent for months, lowering the rents, like and that hardship fell on my family, but it didn't matter. I get it. At that point, it's a fucking like you got to be like you got to do what you can do to help everyone, right?
Yeah. But yeah, there's people that are sneaking into houses that are completely abandoned that they're showing to sell or something, then living in there and then forcing the people to pay them to move out. I mean, it's insane.
Just like if you have illegals working for you or people working for you illegally, you should you're a scumbag if when you let them go, you don't give them some sort of severance. You know what I mean? Like you have someone working for you for a fucking year and you get rid of them and you don't give them a fucking month severance or 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit.
You're taking advantage of their situation, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But the
you gotta-
illegals are there.
yeah.
Their illegals are there to be taken advantage of. I'm sorry. That's what happens. I mean, when you're playing outside of that rule, when you're playing outside of the law, right? And you're in a gray area, like if I sell drugs and you fucking rob me, who am I going to call? The cops?
Right.
It's the gray area. I took
Right,
that
right.
risk. I sold the drugs. You know,
I'm
it
just
is what
talking
it
about
is.
being like a civil human being. Let's say you have a nanny and she's from fucking Venezuela and she's been your nanny for fucking 2 years and you get fired from your fucking job. And so you got to let her go. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would for sure.
You
Me
got to give me
personally,
you
of course.
don't be a fucking piece of shit.
Right. And be like,
But
well,
that
she's
be-
illegal. Who are you going to tell anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just-
that's bad.
It's the golden rule. Treat people how you'd want to be treated.
Mm.
Mike Pullboy. You never see that YouTuber that goes to Home Depot to take the Mexicans looking for work to Disneyland and he pays them? No, but I hate that. Severance is total bullshit. Wow.
Interesting. I think severance is okay.
Yeah. I wish I had got a bigger severance. In my last job, I got fired. The people who pushed back got bigger severances. I didn't push back. Maybe I should have pushed back.
Oh, that sucks. That's like from when I found out about a bunch of the COVID stuff. Like I never took any of those government money or any of that because I figured all those fucking grants would eventually turn into loans. Some of them
Yeah.
did, by the way. So I just stayed away from it. But I was talking to one of the
But some of them
financial
turned the other
advisors
way
I have.
too, right? Some of the loans turned into grants too.
Well,
Like,
that's what she was saying when she was like, "Oh,
Oh.
did you do any of these grants or any of this?" And I said, "No, because I just don't trust the government. I didn't want their money. I didn't need it, and I didn't want it to turn into a loan and have something happen." She was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Wait, could I have gotten like 100K or something out of this if I had done it right?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck."
Mm.
But I didn't take it. I thought that shit would turn into a loan.
Damn, how much would it have been?
Probably, you know, not exceeding 100,000 and probably not less than 20,000. So somewhere in between that range.
Oh, it means by which corporations avoid future lawsuits. Oh, I think what Sevog is saying is that they and I think what he's saying is they give you 50,000. You work there 10 years. They give you $50,000, but you have to sign all this paperwork to keep your fucking mouth shut.
Hmm.
I think that's what he's
Okay, makes sense.
Look at this. I found this fascinating. This guy's great. This guy was on the podcast. I should have this guy on again. Remember he sat outside on a stool and he had to take a pee break and just peed in the yard? You remember that guy? This guy?
Yeah.
If you don't follow this account, you should follow this account. It's called Cubs to Bears Books. This guy's every day I learn something from him. Okay, here we go. Oh shit.
Were depicted during the Spanish-American War.
That's how Spanish people were depicted during the Spanish-American War. As monkeys.
That's crazy.
Is that racist?
I think. I mean, sure.
I'm gonna
As a
say no.
racist. I
I'm
don't
gonna say
know.
no.
I don't fucking know.
Is that a monkey? Would you say that's a monkey?
Yeah, I'd say that looks like a gorilla, like monkey gorilla person.
Yeah. Look, he's standing on the American flag. That's not cool.
Yeah. His
He's got
hands
a
are bloody.
He's got a belt that says Spain.
This is how the Germans were depicted during World.
The Germans were depicted as monkeys.
Everybody. I guess that's like subconsciously telling you it's less than, right? Like it's an animal, so it's less than a human life. Is that
Fucking
the
King Kong. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and look at it. It takes your girl.
Yeah, it's got your girl.
Takes your.
Are those titties covered up?
It's a monkey that takes your vag. Yeah, it's a big old.
But do
titty.
you see it's like censored, but like somebody took like a paint tool?
Oh, wow. Wow, that makes me want to find the wow.
Right?
Wow, good eye, Souza. Hold on, let me pivot for a second.
Oh,
What's
you're
that one say? Destroyed
Destroyed
Mad Brute poster. German.
U.S. Army enlist posters.
U.S. Army. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. It's an army recruitment poster. Let me see if I can find the. I might order that.
Looks like he's got like a World War I helmet on.
Oh
too.
shit, dude! It is. Wow. God. Check everything in stock is 50% off. Good. Wow, Souza, what a great eye. Just pivot from fucking some legitimate fucking
Oh, there it is.
education to porn.
Well,
Damn,
sex
I can't
sells.
make it bigger.
Oh,
there we go.
oh, there you go. There you go. How funny.
Damn. All right. Okay, so come on, Souza.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ, you know I distract easy. Okay, here we go.
World War I, because getting people to support horror requires dehumanization. In the early 2000s, the Pentagon was caught spending over $500 million to make fake Al-Qaeda videos, and that was following a traumatizing event. Then they had a terror advisory system which warned people how likely events were to be attacked. You really want to go to that concert? And for years, the media bombarded people with talk of radical Islamic terrorism. Muslims were dehumanized, and people were so terrified that they gave up their constitutional rights. This is where the plot gets really good. In 2007, they introduced Obama to the show, and he does a 180. Says that if you don't want Muslims in the country, it's because you're xenophobic, which started the process of what? Dehumanizing European Americans. Racist, bigot, homophobe, all designed to dehumanize you. And now they can use the Patriot Act against Americans. But it was really clever how they went about everything. Trauma event, get everyone scared of Islamic terrorism. Introduce Obama. If you're scared, it's because you're full of hate. The flip was the perfect strategy to divide and conquer. And this is why my books teach about propaganda and dehumanization. In Operation Mockingbird, it starts with danger, bear crimes. In the right to bear arms, skunks are bad. So we could familiarize our children with propaganda in a safe and fictional way. Cubs to bears. This is how.
You buy his narrative? Do you like the way he says, and then that's when they brought Obama in, or the way they said it is like it was like he's a plant, like
Yeah.
we didn't elect him. How
Yeah.
dare he?
I love that they.
I voted for Obama.
Anytime someone starts talking about what they are doing, I'm into it. I'm interested. I wanna know. Yeah, what are they doing? Let's break it down.
Mike said my mom said I look like a monkey as a kid. You still look like a monkey. What are you talking about?
Try to dehumanize you. Don't let her do it.
Oh, damn. All right. Good way to start the day.
He had me until he was selling stuff. CrossFit. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Listen.
Yeah, Jake Chapman caught it too. This is
Oh,
where my books. ...
Oh, come on. What do you want him to say?
I don't see anything wrong with that either. Like he has like his theory on it, and then he has a theory on how to educate people on it, and he's selling both. He's selling you the fear, he's selling you the solution.
Yeah.
He's technically doing the micro of what the macro of what he's explaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Manipulate information, make you afraid, usher in a solution, have you buy it.
Oh, wow.
That's the playbook, right? That's their playbook. Create a problem, create a tragedy, create a scare, manipulate the information.
If you
to usher
don't
in what you
use
need.
Matuthian, listen, fluoride's horrible for you. But I have a solution for you. Matuthian. Fluoride will lower your IQ by 3 to 6 points. Irretrievable points. Okay, here we go.
America's billionaires paid off the country's debt. It might sound crazy, but that's what actually happened after 1776. Because following the war, America was in tremendous debt to the government of France and the banks in France. And both have historically used war debt to leverage control over countries. In 1795, founding father James Swan purchased the entire debt. And Swan was that guy. As a teenager, he was a member of the Sons of Liberty. He participated in the Boston Tea Party, was shot twice at the Battle of Bunker Hill. But not only did he survive, he would go on to amass a fortune in shipping. This guy was a patriot, and when he saw America being leveraged by France and the banks, he stepped in. And that's why I write books on the First Amendment, the right to bear arms. Because American schools aren't raising patriots. They're producing these losers who don't have a connection to the country. So instead, they run globalist corporations and sell us out. But we could raise the next generation to have a connection to the founding of this country and produce a better class of millionaires and billionaires. Little American swans. Check out my books on the First Amendment, the right to bear arms, the corrupt.
Dude, I love that. I'm hyped.
From Jekyll Island. That's a good one. That's on the Federal Reserve. You know that.
James Swan, what a fucking savage. What a savage.
Yeah, I remember the colored things too. That was crazy.
Oh, it's so ridiculous now that I look at it. It's so fucking
absurd. What type of, if you take about like the predictability models, right? Like what were they using to give me the predictability of a severe at risk? Like what? How?
If you hear a lot of chatter in fucking Arabic, all of a sudden it goes to red.
And you can tell me, like, if you have an orange or a red, like a severe or high, and you know it, stop it, motherfucker. What do you don't warn me with your systems. Stop the terrorists.
Why is this guy so into kids? Why the fuck do you think he's so into kids? Because he has kids. He's fucking taking the bull by the horn by the bull. He's taking the bull by the horn because he has kids.
I mean, it is correct though. Like the deterioration of public schools is clearly something that everybody agrees on, regardless of the side of the fence that you sit on, at least more or less. And there's definitely no teaching with any sort of emphasis on how what rights we have, why they're important, how they came to be, why they need to be protected. Like, in fact, it's the opposite. It's like, how do you tear these things down and then label them as like evil or racist? It's kind of like what I was saying, like history stops for most liberals about 300 years.
Right.
Like that's as far as we could see. And like, it becomes
I think it's 3 months. I think you're being too generous. I think it's 3 months.
You know,
give me a control of a nation's money supply and I can care not who makes its laws.
Yeah. So true.
I got off the P. Diddy bandwagon. I was like really following all that shit for a while, and then I've missed a couple days.
Isn't it funny how like what we choose to be interested in terms of scandal?
What do you mean? No, I know it's what YouTube tells me to be interested in.
Right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's like all the other things we could turn be outraged about or that affect our lives. It's like, and I'm guilty of it too. We all go to the P. Diddy story, right?
Diddy.
Not the fact that our inflation or the taxes or the buying power of the dollar is diminishing. Like, no, we're more concerned with Diddy.
Diddy. But if you live in the United States, at least be thankful you don't live in fucking Australia or anywhere in fucking Europe.
Yeah.
Because those guys are
dudes that have been changed into chicks are crushing it right now. Male Spanish soldiers are self-identifying as women to get better army digs. Army Corporal Roberto, who registered as a female in the past 12 months, reportedly he gets a better salary now. He has nicer accommodations. And then also he was told that his pension's gone up because women get more to compensate for inequality. Also gets a 15% more annual salary for being a mother. You know what the best part is? Because out of respect for, he said he didn't want to be in the female houses and showering with them and stuff. So they just gave him his own house. Corporal's been allowed to maintain his beard because facial hair is permitted for women, whereas guys have to shave their beard.
What do you mean facial hair is permitted for
There's
women?
nothing in the code of conduct about women having facial hair.
This is just a smart guy. It's a smart lady. Sorry.
Well, dudes that have been changed into chicks are...
That dude was kind of hot.
Yeah, that dude is hot. I don't even believe that's really a dude. But man, when I hear some of the stuff, the way those people think over there, even some of the guys at BSI, like, or it's like RFK's running mate. She understands all the problems, but she wants more government intervention. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
It's like someone who thinks there's more disease, so we need more vaccines. It's like, yo, hey, it's just crazy retard thinking. It's like, hey, we see a community suffering, so give them even more money, even though that we've been pouring money into them for the last 40 years, and those communities are just getting worse and worse. It's like, yo, wrong solution, dipshit. Those people will do anything for their fucking government outside the Europeans, Australians, the fucking Canadians. They are just fucking ankle grabbers to the. It's like their whole fucking country is like that. I wonder what happens to happen over there for them to change. Those fucking people better hope fucking Trump gets elected. If this fucking place falls, man, they are fucked.
If there's one lever and you could only pull one lever.
That. Yeah.
If there's only one lever and you could only pull one to change the mindsets and the discernment of the United States public as a total, what would you start to change?
Go have all the worst, have more bad shit happen to their kids.
Oh shit, that's where you go with it.
Yeah, immediately just be like, okay, you think it's fucking cool for men? You think it's just some fucking random fucking dude? It's not going to happen to you? Cool. Well, I'm going to let a dude into your fucking, starting tomorrow, a dude with a fucking 10-inch cock gets to change next to your wife, your daughter, your mom, your niece, your sister, your side piece. Yeah. Yeah, that's it right there. You want social change? Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And every one of those liberals gets one kid that dies of a fentanyl OD too. One of those. Yeah, just go after let the fucking shit come roost on their fucking kids.
Yeah.
That's what, to me, obviously, that's what's so fucking abysmal. Even if we were to get rid of all the guns, it just means that we still have all the retards. They just don't have guns now. What would you do? What lever would you pull?
Well, you're kind of giving me some more thought there in the way that
look at Patrick Clark's like, not the side piece. Yeah, the side piece too.
Everybody's going to get it.
Everyone's gonna have to change next to a fucking Leah Thomas.
I would.
I'm gonna put a Leah Thomas in every one of your fucking closets at home. Oh, good morning.
Someone would be like, "Oh, good to meet you."
Yeah,
there's already someone in there.
Yeah.
Education, 100% education. That's the lever that I would pull. And I think that if you look at what's happened now, like the deterioration of education or the manipulation of what's important in education, really starts to change generation over generation, because majority of the people who you're talking about,
that's a nice long-term solution. I like that. That's probably better than mine.
Yeah, well, think about it. All the people who in which you're talking about, right, are like, they come out of these colleges and stuff like this with that really heavy liberal mindset. without feeling any weight of the decisions that they're making. So what you had said is like you drop, what's happening to some of these with these policies that these people are implementing or championing in, and you're saying, okay, now I'm going to make you, I'm going to force you to feel the direct effect of the decisions you're making, right? And so essentially, you're also educating them on their idiocy. But if you're able to do that at a sooner rate with like better public schools, less bureaucracy, no government involvement in the schools, do it on a local level, you'd probably be able to have a much better educated population that could use their discernment against these illogical things that a lot of people are pushing in, especially higher education. It's crazy.
Start by making them learn about the Constitution. Did you hear
That's
that?
right.
I think it's the Senate. One day a year, they you can volunteer and they read the Constitution from beginning to end. And Tulsi said the Democrats don't do it because they think the Constitution is racist. Holy shit!
It's crazy.
Holy shit! Jake Chapman, unless you've looked at every country, you can't possibly talk on Europe. Okay, you're right. What's that country Laura Horvat's from?
Hungary?
Yeah, Hungary. You're right. I think Hungary might have an amazing president. I think it's Hungary. You're right. There might be one. Hey, Jake, how you guys fucked up is getting all Britain's the only smart one right now. You guys fucked each other by all butt fucking each other with the same currency. You guys should have never done that. You guys fucked yourselves. You basically all put yourselves under fucking one umbrella. It's weird. Europe's like an island. It's like being fucking trapped on Hawaii, even though it's so because of all those fucking little countries. Like we always have a place to go. Like you're done with this shit, you can go to Montana.
Right.
You can go. There's 90% of California is like free. You can just go. Get a piece of land, dig a well, and fucking set up a tent. You guys are just mess that place turned into. And listen, there's bigger people to hate than racist, but it's also the most racist fucking group of people that's ever fucking been. I mean, you guys each have your own fucking country. There's no attempt for any assimilation over there at all, except for fucking all the fucking Middle Eastern people and Indians and Muslims swarming all your countries. That's a broad generalization, Sevon. Well, fine. I get it. I mean, you punch holes in it, but I'm 51% right. The pound is stronger than the dollar. Well, fantastic. Great.
No, I would not want one currency. No.
You do not want anyone fucking having a monopoly like that. You moving towards that digital currency, huh?
I mean, we're already there, aren't we?
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. Like Jake Cooey said, whoever controls the ledger or whoever controls the numbers controls everything. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Violin?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, whoever controls the currency, yeah. I just got a little video of Greg's kids playing the violin. That is so cool.
Oh, that is cool. He talked about going to that shop around his house, right? Got a few?
Yeah.
The fiddler shop. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm just really stuck on the public education thing in the U.S. Have you heard Milton Friedman's thing with like a voucher? Because like right now, you and Haley pay taxes for public schools.
Yeah.
Why should you?
Right.
Your kids aren't in public school.
But I'm okay participating in things, even though my kids aren't in school. Right. I'm okay with multiculturalism destroys countries. I don't know. I think we can pull it off here in the United States. I love being I'm not opposed to like these fucking I'm not opposed to fucking Kenya or fucking Iceland. Like if you just want to do all blacky or all fucking translucent, like I'm fine with that. But At that point, religion becomes really important. There needs to be something that bonds those people together culturally. Or what Sousa says, get everyone fucking educated up on the Constitution, have them bind around that. But honest Constitution talk, whether you're religious or not, talk about its Judeo-Christian values, talk about the inalienable rights, talk about the
Inalienable
importance of the
rights,
Second
yeah.
Amendment, so that the people can defend themselves from the government. I mean, I guess you could do that. Oh, Finland is fucking crazy socialist. They got mad tall poppy syndrome there. Oh, okay. No, tell me about Milton Friedman. I remember. I know a lot of the I know a lot of the black intellectuals love the voucher system because blacks flourish in that school system when they have vouchers. When the government lets them choose which school they want their kids to go to, it causes
Right.
competition, and the teachers'
Right.
unions hate it. Right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gives up their control. So if you're like, if everybody just got a voucher with their school, that if you weren't using public school and you got money kicked back to you, so you could put that money that that you're paying into already for the public school, but you could utilize it how you see fit for your kids with the programs that you have them in, or some of the other training and some of the other people you have coming to the house to help them out, then that puts that power and that control back into you. Right now, they're saying, hey, yeah, you could go ahead and take your kids to a private school, or you could homeschool them, but you're still going to pay into the public school system. Like, why?
Oh, right. I think everyone should make probably some contribution to kids. If you're paying taxes, there should be some, because it's just prepare. It's like going into like I guess what I would call the foundation of the civilization. But you should definitely get to choose. There should
Right.
definitely be competition. Thomas Sowell did this in one of his books before, when the schools were segregated. All black schools were on par with all the white schools, and the kids were graduating with at the same rate and with the same education. And I think even the all black school in LA had the highest test scores of all the segregated schools. I forget what year it was. And then they started forcing the kids to school together and busing them around and shit. And shit just got weird, and test scores for blacks started just fucking plummeting. By the way, by no means am I defending segregate. Am I saying that schools should be segregated? But from there, he pivots to the voucher system, and he also shows that the kids black kids that are in like these areas where there are vouchers and where kids can choose their own schools and go to charter schools, the black kids flourish, and there becomes no distinction in color,
right,
between the performance of the kids. I mean, it's pretty fucking cut and dry.
Yeah. I mean, think about how bizarre it is to have all this DEI stuff, and everybody needs a fair chance and a equal opportunity. But the taxing and funding from your school comes directly from the local area. So if you take Oakland in consideration, right? Like, how much are those schools getting? They're not getting shit. They're getting shit on. The graduation rate's terrible. Literacy rate is terrible. All this stuff. But then you come a few miles over and you go to Pleasanton, where their school system is great, and because that area has a ton of money coming into it from all the tax dollars of everybody that's living there, which is in a much, much, much higher tax bracket. So now you mean to tell me, like, we're just going to wait till the end of the line in college to give this affirmative action and stuff like that, rather than just tapping it out the source and being like, wait a minute, these kids that are already coming at completely disadvantaged environments and neighborhoods and family systems and everything else. Oh, now, by the way, they have the least access to education, and the least amount of funding goes to these things. And we all know too that there's so much bureaucracy with these teacher unions and these administrators that they end up taking the lion's share of the funding. And you have these poor fucking teachers that are just there trying to do their job, that are now over at Target trying to buy dollar supplies, because they have to supply their own students with some of their school supplies and other things for activities. It's completely ridiculous.
You made me just think of something. It's a little off subject. What if we passed a one world law that you could only breed with white people could only breed with black people, and black people could only breed with white people. and we just did that for one generation. What the fuck would everyone complain about? What would happen to all the narratives?
Yeah, we would just.
I know exactly what would happen. By the way, do you know what happened? it would become by shade. They already had that experiment's already being run in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
The black, if you're really the black people, the light skinned black people there look down on the dark skinned black people.
Right.
It would just become like there's no avoid. It's the retard thing. You can't run away from stupidity. You just cannot run away from it. You can't. There's no solution for stupidity. Dusty said something interesting in here. So this is going to really disappoint you, Dusty. I'm going to really let you down here because you checkmated me, and I know no one really wants to beat me down, but you win. School vouchers would invite the government into your homeschool, but the government is already in my homeschool because we accept money from the government for that. Like instead of sending I don't know what it is, but we get, let's say $3,000 a semester or something. And because of that, the government comes in and it's frequent. It's frequent. The kids have to be go on a Zoom call with someone from the local homeschool program. And my kid has to read to them and tell them that 7 minus 2 is 5. If you want to get the money, you don't have to do that. But if you want the money, you have to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Graciano had a good point here because he was saying that in California, the funding for the schools come all from kind of one area. He's probably way more educated on it than I am, but he said here that it's an allocation problem, not a funding problem. The money gets wasted in poor districts, but they have plenty of money. And yeah, that is basically my whole premise of what I was saying there. So I might not have the particulars right, but yeah, absolutely. It's just a huge, massive allocation problem. And I mean, the government is such a waster of our money. And the crazy part about it is as I'm just finishing up tax season, right? All the stuff that I do with the businesses, they want to know exactly where every dollar is, have it all line item. Do you have a receipt for this? Do you have a receipt for that? But yet, where the fuck is our receipt as the American public? Where could I see where all my dollars went from the government? Congress is spending like crazy and sending a shitload of that money. Give me an itemized list of where all that money is going. Show me every fucking dollar, because that's the expectation of us,
right,
as business owners, right? That's what they wanted. They want to know, and you got to have your receipt or you're going to get audited and we're going to fuck you. And then you're going to have to pay for that. Oh, but by the way, if you ask just simply, hey, where did all the money go from our education funding as it trickled down into Livermore? Can you show me where every single dollar went and where that money came in and how it was allocated across? Oh, I'm sorry, we can't.
Hey,
crazy.
Teachers unions are not concerned with the well-being of the children. They are there to work for the teachers. Great point. Hey,
great point.
Do you think that if Trump gets elected, that there's going to be some good investment opportunities in chain link fences and rounding people up and bounty, whatever those services are that are going to take to round up the 10 million people, the 10 million illegal criminals that are in the country?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think about it, but
can you imagine it working at ICE? You must be just salivating right now.
They're going to let you loose if he becomes president. Rally him up, boys.
Yeah. I watched this documentary on I didn't watch the documentary. I watched a preview on this guy. There's this basketball player from Greece. He's a black dude, Giannis. Do you know who he is?
Mm-mm.
I think he might be the best basketball player in the NBA right now. I wish I could play the Giannis. Someone in the
Jethro said ice overtime going to go through the roof.
Oh, Giannis. How do you spell
Giannis?
Giannis.
Yeah, it's pronounced Giannis. Patrick Clark knows.
Let me see. I think he might. Is he the best guy? Is he the best guy in the NBA right now? Oh, Greek Freak. Yeah. I've heard that name, the Greek Freak. So look it. I'm going to pull up a picture of him. Crazy successful.
Oh, yeah.
Greek guy.
Definitely seen that guy.
Playing in the NBA, right?
Uh-huh.
Clearly black, right? Guess what? Cares about family. Extremely well spoken. Don't look at the comments. Don't cheat.
Okay.
Overachiever. Just an amazing guy. Which African country is he from?
Which African country is he from?
Yeah.
I have no idea, dude. I don't even know.
Come on, you do know. You do know.
African
It's where
country.
it's where all the great Africans come from.
Zimbabwe?
No.
No. You
No.
you tell me. I don't know. Yeah, I'm
Nigeria.
impossible here. Nigeria.
I
Okay,
watched
great.
the fucking 3 minutes of his fucking documentary, and then it's like, yeah, and he's from Nigeria. It's like, yeah. It's like they have Nigerians come to this country. All the UFC is just full of fucking amazing Nigerians, but I think they
Yeah.
also have like the highest per capita of doctors for immigrants in the United States. You would have thought it was like someone from fucking Thailand or some shit, right? No,
Yeah.
it's fucking Nigeria. They have they cracked the code on culture there. Every fucking anytime you see a black person who's an immigrant who's like kicking ass, Nigerian. Doesn't matter.
Mm.
You
Why
didn't
do
know
you think
that?
that is?
Now you know. It's just
Now
their
I know, yeah.
culture. It's just whatever they got. They cracked the code. They probably have the same culture that the fucking Japanese have or whatever,
Yeah.
these other successful the Israelis have. Born in Athens, someone. I think maybe his brother was born in Athens, but I don't think he was. The doc shows that hold on. Because his brothers don't have an accent and he has an accent. Let me see his wiki. Hold on. I think his parents moved to Athens for a better life for them. Hold on. Is a Greek-Nigerian professional basketball player. Hold on. Born and raised in you're right. Born and raised in Athens to Nigerian parents.
I promise, born in Athens.
I wonder why he has such a strong accent, Nigerian accent, and his brothers don't. His parents are Nigerian immigrants. So good. So they kept it. So even better, even drive that point home even stronger. They kept it. They kept the culture strong even through one generation. Africa is not the backward ass continent Americans are led to believe. Nigeria has serious issues. Yeah, that continent has serious issues. I bet you his parents were athletes. I bet you his parents are still together. Dad was a soccer player. His mother was a high jumper. Jesus Christ. Talk about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sports.
So he's the mix of those two sports, jumping high and a round ball.
Yep. The perfect combination for the NBA. Did you listen to the Mark Cuban? No, Mark Cuban interview with Lex Friedman?
No, is it good?
It's all right. I would just I'll timestamp it and send it to you. I just want you to hear his take on the DEI in business.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's for it. He's for it, right?
Oh yeah. He's totally pushing it, and in the sense of like, well, I think it is good, and you have the decision. You're the business owner, and then Lex is like, yeah, but not really, because when we see the manifestation of DEI in schools, and like goes to pull it that way, and then Mark just takes a quick U-turn. He's like, yeah, I don't know anything about the DEI in schools. I can't speak on that. And like just shuts it down because
I've seen him destroyed on 3 other interviews about that. Get destroyed. Destroyed.
So he just stayed away from it completely. And then Lex still hovers around the subject and he goes, yeah, and you're probably right. There's probably a bunch of problems with the DEI and how it works in the universities. I just don't know enough about that. I just stick with business, and it is good to collect a bunch of ideas from a diverse group of thinkers and people, and you still get the decision to decide who's best qualified for the job because it's your business. But then he completely, and I'm surprised Lex didn't take it there, and he said, yeah, but what about the ESG scores that are being forced upon all these other major corporations that are coming from the private equity companies that fund them, that if they don't do it the way that they're saying, then technically they would get their funding pulled. So do they still have a choice? Or did you have a choice like you don't need to go to your job, you just have to get the vaccine, and if you don't need to go to your job type choice?
And what'd he say?
No, I just wish Lex would have said that.
Oh, Lex didn't say that. Oh my
No.
God, Souza, that was brilliant what
No.
you put together. Fucking clip it. Yeah.
I'm just surprised he didn't,
Yes.
because I
Wow.
know Lex is like
Wow.
way more prepared than stuff like that than
Wow.
I am. But when he skirted the question, I just would have came back like that. I would have said, yeah, somebody like me and
You don't have a choice. Yeah.
we both we both have a choice. We both own businesses, and we could choose who we bring into our business. But when you go one layer above that into corporate America, or just financing through a lot of these private equity companies, which we even see happening with CrossFit, right? They are all going to behold that toe the line of the DEI, and it completely throws out his argument on you have choice.
There absolutely is no choice.
No choice.
And basically, it's racist to its core. Racist and sexist.
And then he almost...
It's so fucked up. Someone in the go ahead.
Well, as I say, he almost stepped on the landmine of like, oh, well, sometimes when you have to, right wrongs from the past to even things out, and he was going down that whole path. And again, that's that history stops at 250 years, 300 years ago mentality. Because if you start going down the path of righting the wrongs, come on, think about it. History is made up of wars and the victors of those wars, of how history, like if you sit in a history class, they're going to just timeline everything by wars and revolutions and changing hands of authority.
The North
and
won.
power.
Those fucking people in the South got destroyed. The North fucking won.
It's nuts, but you don't even
North
look.
fucking won. And now it's like if we went
to
to Germany, back to Germany now, and just started fucking beating the fuck out of them again. Those fucking idiots,
dude. That happened, and it was in the past, and and then
they won.
You choose to stop, and they won. Exactly.
You won.
Exactly.
We won. I won. Caller high. Oh, caller
what's up? Did you see the Rock was on Fox and Friends?
I did.
That's so crazy.
How do you interpret here, let me play it real quick for people who let me play it real quick. Here we go. And here we go.
It only took The Rock 4 years to realize he made a mistake. Dwayne Johnson recently said that he regrets endorsing Joe Biden in 2020 and will not endorse him for the 2024 election.
Am I happy with the state of America right now? Well, that answer is no. The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer is no.
So The Rock now regrets endorsing Biden. The next time a celebrity...
I don't know. Go ahead, Jethro. How do you interpret... I know the right is trying to say that it's a win. It's a win that, like, basically he's saying he's going to vote for Trump, but the left is just saying that he just doesn't want to be polarizing.
It's a big deal, I feel like, as though, because he's such a major player in the Hollywood space, for him to kind of out and out admit that he made a mistake. And just for the simple fact that he went on a conservative leaning newscast and be interviewed, that says a lot.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because even people were saying, like, if he ran for president, he would probably get a shit ton of votes. So for someone like that to do that was mind-boggling. I thought it was an old April Fool's joke that he was on Fox talking about, and I thought I missed it.
Yeah.
I was like, The Rock went on Fox and Friends? What are you talking about?
I just went to his Instagram account too, see if people are commenting on it. It says, so why are you on Fox selling your soul and turn your back on innocent people? Fox News, really? He doesn't care about women's freedom rights. So disappointed. Showed your true color, not a people's champ. Looks like he loves tax breaks more than women's rights. Wow. I used to think
really pushing that women's rights thing on the...
What does that mean? Like the right for women to kill, for people to kill? Is that baby killing? That's code for baby killing?
100%. Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing that Dave was saying. Dave was saying, well, if I go on this podcast or talk to this person, you're pigeonholing me into like an idea. But I talk to everyone and I read up on all facets of life and culture.
Listen to what
this way about it.
Listen to what this person wrote, Jethro. You know you have the influence, and yet you spoke against the only candidate with common sense. That Joe Biden doesn't even have any sense, let alone common or uncommon.
Thank you for
selling your soul.
Did you see that? That was like the third selling your soul and innocent people. Like, I'm like, are these bots now just pushing a specific comment kind of narrative or slant in here?
The same day that I saw that, my brother-in-law has been in the hospital for a condition. So they sent him a lot of updates on his conditions and his tests and where he's at. He sent the family a screenshot, and Seven, I just sent it to you, from probably the biggest medical practice in New York, probably the East Coast, NYU. They sent them a picture, and it said, how to prevent COVID-19. And the answer was, there is no vaccine to help prevent COVID-19 infection. After 4 years of all this nonsense of losing jobs and people getting the vaccine and people dying from it, now they're saying there's no vaccine to prevent COVID-19. I was like, holy shit, it happened.
Hey,
I just texted it to you.
I don't see it.
Like,
I was looking for it, but you know that we had a show pulled down about 4 months ago. It was because I said that in the show we said that there was no proof of the vaccine doesn't stop transmission or infection, and the show is pulled down. And I Googled, does mRNA vaccine prevent transmission and infection? And Google's first link was it does not. And so then I went back to YouTube, same company, right? And I said I protested it, and they actually put my show back live again, which is kind of crazy.
They put it on paper, there is no vaccine to help prevent COVID-19 infection. And at the same time, he's in the hospital right now. He's taking remdesivir. The same cocktail or whatever it is that they banned because they said, quote unquote, it didn't work to help with COVID symptoms.
Oh, what's his name says it killed it. What's his name says it killed his mom. You know that, right?
Jeez.
I think in the beginning,
Alex Stein said remdesivir killed his mom.
That's right. Yep.
Hey, I want to play. Thank you, Jethro. Appreciate it, buddy.
I'll
look
dude,
to see. I don't see your. It hasn't come through on my computer yet. Whatever you sent me. Oh, are you on a Droid?
Yeah, sorry, I'm working on it. Andrew almost took my phone and threw it in the garbage.
He's doing a public service.
Okay.
All right, dudes. Later. Bye.
Okay.
Later, Jethro.
Let me see if I can.
Okay, I gotta run in like a couple minutes too myself.
No, I gotta run.
Okay, yeah, you got the thing. Remember?
I gotta run.
Yeah, I'm the one that has to hang up first. You gotta.
Yeah. No, I have to hang up first. Okay. So here it is. Hey, my wife just sent it to me.
Oh fuck!
Is that crazy?
Cool. Yes. Oh wow.
Can you hear the audio?
No.
Oh, you can't. Basically, it's just him. He's just running down. So that's too bad. You can't hear the audio.
He's out of there.
Yeah, he's out of there. Look at. He's like, fuck this.
I'm not going to the infant swim school. I'm starting a new life on this island.
God damn, he is bummed. I'm calling his name.
Stops to check out the little stopper.
This fuck. I'm like, baby, come back. I'm not gonna let anything bad happen to you. Maybe I'll play this on my fucking Instagram. Anyway, there he is, just fucking running down the street. Look at him. He's fucking.
Oh my gosh! Look at him, so small.
Crazy.
Is that a tattoo on his arm? Not his chest. Oh, stickers. He's got stickers.
He's like, fuck. Look at it. He's looking back. He saw the infant swimming resource lady come, and he just fucking ran out the front gate crying.
He knew. Yeah. He's getting out of there. Survival instincts are kicking in.
Can we have Matt Chan on the show?
Interesting.
He's not going to endorse Trump. He will rather endorse the party. Oh, that's pretty smart.
Patrick. I actually agree with you on that, Patrick. But I think what Jethro said is more of the shock factor, the fact that he was just on Fox and Friends. Like, even if he went on there and was like, I'm not going to vote for Biden, but, the Democrats still have my vote or something, obviously their candidate changed. It didn't matter because he went on Fox and Friends. And if you look at those comments, everybody was already all up in arms about it. You showed your true colors.
It's so easy now, people. It's so easy. Like, it's so now's the time to just come out publicly with it. Now it's like, hey, dude, I'm not doing pedophilia. I'm not doing illegal aliens stealing homes from Americans. Like now, it's so easy. You know what's funny is I was arguing with a friend the other day, or a group of people. They were saying that that people are going to finally step up and come out, and they're not. People are still so afraid.
Yeah.
People are still so fucking afraid to say there's more closeted Trumpers than there are closeted gay people, for sure.
I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, there's so many fucking we live with so many pussies. That's the only thing that sucks. We live with just if Europe is just stupid, we just live with cowards, and it's wild.
Yeah.
All right. Love you guys. Do we have anyone on tomorrow?
Yeah, we have our
oh yeah.
special
Oh yeah.
guest.
So tomorrow we have a special guest host. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yep.
I can't
Then
wait.
Mark
She's gonna kill
McQueen
it.
on Monday.
Guest hosts.
Maybe.
Mark McQueen's the strong guy who got into jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
He's like part strongman, part jiu-jitsu, part grappler. Oh, that's cool. That'll be fun to have him on.
And then Tuesday we might have something. And then I'll have my show for sure on Tuesday.
Okay, well, what Tuesday might be?
Yeah, I remember we kicked around about you coming back and doing something Tuesday mornings.
Is it with but is it with a guest? Did we have a
It
guest
will
lined
be
up,
if
maybe?
you do it. No, I'm trying to. I'm trying to see if we get somebody into that slot.
Is it Jake Berman?
It can be Jake Berman.
Oh, god damn.
I don't think I have Jake Berman's
I'm
number.
going to cheat. I'm going to go back and look at our text thread and see who it is.
We don't have a text thread. We were trying to get Jimmy for part 2.
Oh, yeah. What about Liz Collins, the Minneapolis?
I'm trying to get a hold of her. She's via email, and so we're trying to track her down. We had her on the schedule twice. Both times she had to reschedule, and then communication kind of fell off when I hit her back up to get a reschedule. So I recently did that again last time we talked about it. If you want to try for Jake Berman and you want to send me his number, we could see if we can jump in Tuesday morning.
Oh, which would be awesome because that Wednesday he goes against Colton. Oh,
right.
Shit.
Yep. Because then Wednesday we got Greg, and then we got Tim Murray.
Jake Berman, Souza.
On Thursday, we got Brooke Entz coming in. That'll be a fun show.
Oh, yeah, that will be cool.
And then on Friday, we have Haley Adams, but not the Haley Adams you're thinking.
Oh.
A different Haley Adams, but Haley Adams.
Don't tell them, though. That way a ton of people tune in. That'll be cool.
Yeah. We have Haley Adams on Friday.
Okay, I just sent a text to you and Jeff Berman.
Roger that.
You may have to introduce yourself. It's strongest gay, and yes, Jake. What's the strongest gay?
I think he's McQueen.
Oh. It's the world's biggest gay with HWPO.
No.
I don't think that's him. Is that the same guy? McQueen is the HWPO guy?
No.
Get Alex Stein back on.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get Alex Gazan back on too, and Emily Rolfe.
Alex Gazan just started following me on Instagram. I got stoked.
I start to get nervous when people I haven't talked to them in a long time. Not nervous is too strong, but like I don't like there to be like space between us.
Yeah, it's a little too much distance. You got to close that gap.
Because then you start making up stories. Like what if they're like, hey, Sevon has invited me on, I don't like him, or what if I make up stories like Jake finally figured out that I have the hots for his wife. You know what I mean? Like he's making up stories, and then you get these little pools of like separation. You get these, and then so you got to make eye contact so it all goes away. Oh,
right.
Those are just made. Yeah, that's just made up stories.
Oh, I was just
get Meredith Root and Alex Parker back on. That would be fun. It was a good show I did with them. There's been some grenades lobbed back and forth. I'd love to get Adler back on. I'd like to get Carolyn Lambre on. So many people. I'd like to get Matt Fraser on. Tia Toomey.
Fraser would be cool.
Danielle Brandon. Justin Medeiros.
What if we asked some of those
I'd like to get them all on at the same time.
What if we ask some of those people that haven't been on in a while for one reason or another, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, no, it's on Tuesday at 11. It's on my show. Let's see if you come on. Savon won't be there.
Oh yeah. Anyway, if we need Jake Berman on Tuesday, Oh, when you get Katrin on.
Katrin.
Yeah. Katrin, I hardly know her. It didn't really work. Froning. We got to get Froning on. Angelo DeChico. So many people to get on. Greg Glassman. Oh no, he has a Wednesday show. Don Fall.
Hear the revised vision of 10 million CrossFitters.
Adrian Bosman. Laura Horvat.
Should get Bosman on right before semifinals.
I should call Laura right now just to fucking finish off this show.
If you gotta do it, you gotta go though. I'm gonna be late. You gotta do it now.
All right, no, fuck it. All right, fuck it. Justin Berg, Andy Sakamoto.
Andy Sakamoto.
That's crazy. Ben Smith. Graham Holmberg. I'm fuck with the list goes on and on. Who the fuck knows? All right. Patrick Vellner was great on the show today. Susan, thanks for being here. Love you guys. Talk